shaped islands. Just look like many pearls in the ocean. The five islands cluster relatively close to the main island of Taiwan have tremendous cruise ship appeal. And our plan is to have 5 night to 10 nights cruises with various interesting programs. This newly designed itinerary has been published on the popular periodical magazine, Cruise Industry News, that is CIM. In fact, these island cruises are very much welcome in Taiwan market, especially during the pandemic, and some other cruise companies are showing highly interested. We believe a better operation for cruising to these islands is the expedition ship. So we are inviting expedition type of ships to come. I have been serving in this industry and operated expedition cruises to polar regions, Amazon, and Galapagos Islands for more than 30 years. I have visited North Pole 4 times on nuclear-powered icebreakers. Generally speaking, a true expedition cruise consists of a few special characters. I would be very happy to share with you more when we get another chance in the future. However, it is very important on our voyage plan that has flexibility and inbuilt eco-friendly and sustainable tourism model. This is our goal, especially for island cruise in Taiwan. I think you also have the same ideas for your country. So, as to enjoy the beauty of nature, wildlife, and historical sites, meanwhile paying close attention to our environmental protection for sustainable tourism. The overall Asia Pacific market has boomed in recent years. We want to uncover and promote more of the beauty of Taiwan and its islands. But the majority of our capacity, tourism, at this moment is still outgoing, not incoming. So, developing the new cruise program centered specifically around Taiwan and its outlying islands will be our goal and priority. Ladies and gentlemen, in this forum, we have 3 sessions which covers very interesting and important topics. We have invited panelists from cruise company, ports, tourism board, institutes. They are all experts from different territories. I do appreciate them. And we are so grateful to propose the idea to establish the Asia Archipelago Cruise Alliance, so-called AACA. I urge you all, as our good partners and allies, to be united and to share our regional resources together, especially during this pandemic and the time afterwards, so we could and we should have a better future. I'm confident our presentation and discussion in this forum today will be very informative and positive. It should be able to benefit all parties. Again, big thanks to everyone. I sincerely hope this forum goes very well and with great success. Lastly, I wish to encourage all of you with 2 Chinese proverbs. First one is 知无不言，言无不尽. It means say all you know and say it without reserve. The second proverb is 百尺竿头，更进一步, means to make our further effort to do a better job. My dear friend, may God bless you all, and I wish you have a great day. Thank you.
Next, we would like to invite Mr. Jackie Tao, past chairman and founding board member of ACSN, to deliver his opening remark.
Dear distinguished guests, cruise executive, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning. On behalf of an ACSN co-founding board of directors, I'm Jackie To from Myanmar. Very proud to have this wonderful opportunity to speak out for Asia Archipelago's potential port destinations and its long-term sustainability. First of all, I would like to express my warmest gratitude for the webinar seminar section on Asia Archipelago cruise industry organized by Taiwan Maritime and Port Bureau, the Association of the Cruise Development Taiwan, ACDT, and respective personnel and co-organizer Golden Foundation to exclusively. Secondly, for the opening session today, my keynotes will be about sustainable tourism in cruise industry. Well, sustainable tourism provides the vital role of government and public participatory approach sustainable tourism development with two main reasons as follows. First, tourism is a fickle industry and it has many negative externalities. Second, tourism can offer a major contribution to local and national socio-economic development, which needs to be regulated through policy, legislative frameworks by national or local government for future sustainability. May I introduce brief what is ACSN and how it's involved in cruise destination in Asia. Asia Cruise Service Network, known as ACSN, an alliance of trusted expertise formed in 2009, have a network of 17 local experts, experienced and professional cruise handling gurus for show excursion, pre and post overland tour program, passengers turnaround and port agency handling. ACSN quest to continuously evolve to deliver its clients' expectation and beyond as a one-stop shop to our clients with professional and creative solutions in 17 Asia destinations such as Brunei, Cambodia, China, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Maldives, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. The ACSN exclusive cruise tour operators serve more than 50 ports of call with over 200 attractions, included expedition cruise to respective archipelago and itineraries and over 1,000 port of calls. For example, my country, Myanmar, Margaret Archipelago, known as there's over 800 islands. Some may be like as Virgin Islands, located southern part of Myanmar. Interconnection with the Thai waters up to Phuket along the Penang as well. In fact, our Asia tourist destination process many tourist attractions with not only natural environment resources, but also with cultural heritage as well as ethnically diverse facility, customs, and culture that are the endowment as a tourist destination. The COVID-19 pandemic has had massive impact on the tourism industry worldwide, many of which will reshape the industry's future landscape. On the other hand, COVID-19 has revealed the vulnerability of the global systems to protect the environment, health, and economy. ACSN members, as a pioneer in each of the destinations, we feel that we had the responsibility to lead the sustainable practice in market where we operate and influence of our suppliers and clients to participate. Sustainability. We believe in sustainable development and environment conservation to preserve biodiversity, nature, wildlife, and their natural ecosystems. Since 2019, members of ACSN have taken initiative to engage with Travel Life certification program in due course. The post-COVID period will be coming soon. To be safe destination and living with COVID in new normal travel trend, even travel bubble, COVID-19 vaccination tasks a vital role not only as a preventive measure, but all business sustainability. As a safety measure protocol, we had prepared safe destination plates on each facilities and service providers under the World Travel and Tour Council guidelines accordingly. I look forward to learning the most valuable outcomes from expedient panelists after this fruitful event, as well and best wishes for sea calm, smooth sailing by overcoming COVID storm very shortly. Last but not the least, two others societal issues such as climate changes that despite facing unforeseen challenging, welcome with our warmest smiles to serve our valued clients on board. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be strong together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next, let's welcome the advisor of today's online forum, Director General of MPB Taiwan, to deliver his speech. Let's welcome Mr. Ye.
Distinguished guests and all cruise fans, good afternoon. I am Ye Xielong, Director General of Maritime and Port Bureau of Taiwan. Thank you all for being here with us today. The COVID-19 pandemic struck the international cruise industry badly, but also triggered the transformation of its business model. The main cruise tour type has transformed from multi-country tour to single-country archipelago tour or even cruise nowhere. So people can still experience the charms of archipelago cruise travel even during the pandemic. It's well known that Asia is blessed with a variety of natural resources. Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Taiwan, of course. We all have beautiful islands and its own irreplaceable appearance and iconic beauty worth visiting. Therefore, the forum will propose the initiative for the establishment of Asia Archipelago Cruise Alliance, AACA, hoping to integrate the resources of port management, tourism authorities, associations, and the local government from different countries to bring out the extraordinary Asian archipelago cruise voyages. I believe the international cruise industry will resume in near future when the pandemic is under control. Now is the right time for us to get prepared for cruise tourism after the pandemic. I look forward to valuable ideas and the exchange of opinions in today's forum, and further close cooperation to create a new paradise for Asia Archipelago cruise industry. Again, thank you all for being here. I wish you all the best and good health.
More importantly, it is our honor to also invite Administrative Deputy Minister, Ministry of Transportation and Communications Taiwan, Mr. Qi Wenzhong, to say a few words. Let's welcome Mr. Qi.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 Asia Archipelago Cruise Industry Online Forum. Despite the ongoing pandemic, it is wonderful that we are still able to connect with each other virtually and exchange views on the development of archipelago cruise across the region. People in Taiwan love to travel on a cruise ship. However, the global cruise industry has been severely disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic, with significant drops in passenger volume due to travel restrictions and border control. As the outbreak was better controlled in Taiwan, cruise line resumed operation last year with 95 sailings and around 184,000 passengers during July 2020 to May 2021. This performance also made Taiwan the 10th largest market source worldwide. The Ministry of Transportation and Communications is committed to developing the archipelago cruise industry. Our agency, the Maritime Port Bureau and Tourism Bureau, have put in place incentives and support measures to promote Taiwan's offshore islands and improve cruise services. Prior to COVID, the ministry has supported the work of the Asia Cruise Corporation in promoting regional cruise tourism. Now, we are happy to extend our support to help the industry develop better archipelago cruise itineraries and attract more visitors to explore the unique islands across East Asia in a more enjoyable and sustainable way. Lastly, I would like to thank you for being here today. I wish today's event a great success and wish you all health and happiness. Thank you.
The moderator and the panelists for first section, please turn on the camera. The rest, please remember to turn the camera off. Moving on, we are going to start the first panel session. We will be hearing the opinions from experts in the cruise industry regarding the new normal post-pandemic. Firstly, let's welcome the panel moderator for the first section, Mr. Yuta Oi.
Okay, thank you, Lillian. Once again, good afternoon to everybody, and thank you to everyone joining us for session 1 of the 2021 Asia Archipelago Cruise Industry Online Forum. Once again, my name is Yuta Owen. I work for JTB Global Marketing and Travel, which is a tour operator handling all of Japan, and I have been working this company for almost 8 years now. And I am also representing our company within ACSN. So this session 1, we have the title of Opinions from Experts in the Cruise Industry Regarding the New Normal Post-Pandemic. We are seeing resumption of cruises in the US and Europe over recent months, and those of you who participated in sea trade may have heard many positive comments coming from cruise line executives. However, the situation obviously is not the same in the Asian region, where with the exception of some domestic cruises, we are yet to have a clear outlook on when and how operations will resume. The aim of this panel is to shed light on some of the key factors which need to be taken into account for cruises to resume in our region, with insights offered by 3 fantastic panelists. Let me now introduce to you the 3 panelists. First off, we have Mr. Nguyen Huy Quang, Director General, Travel Management Department at the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism. Second, we have, we were supposed to have Mr. Koji Ogiwara, Director for Cruise Project Promotion Division, Port and Harbor Bureau, City of Yokohama, Japan. Unfortunately, he has had to attend the City Council today, so we have Ms. Chisako Miura. She is also from the Port and Harbor Bureau of the City of Yokohama. She is the manager for Cruise Project Promotion Division. Last but not the least, we have Yi Bien, who's the manager of Carnival Taiwan, representing Princess Cruises and Cunard Line. So these are the three panelists we have for today. And let me just introduce to you, let me just explain how we will proceed this panel. First, we have a recorded presentation of each panelist. And we will then, after that, we will have a panel discussion with our three panelists. And as explained in the introduction, please feel free, for those of you listening in, to put in questions from the Q&A button, which is on the bottom right-hand corner on the WebEx screen. I'm not sure how many questions I can pick up from there, but I will do my best to pick up any questions that might be interesting or worth asking in the panel. And lastly, just a reminder to our panelists is, that we have a photo session, or we're just taking a picture here in front of the screen here at the end of this panel discussion. So please stay on until the very end. So without further ado, let us move on to our presentations. First, we have Mr. Gwen. Vietnam is aiming to further develop as a cruise destination, and Mr. Gwen will share us some of the plans that his country has to offer more to cruise ships and their guests. So you have the stage, Mr. Gwen.
The Vietnam National Administration of Tourism to attend the conference for the Cruise Tourism Corporation in the region. Yes, my speech today about the cruise tourism in Vietnam, the current status and the development orientation. I am Nguyễn Quý Phương, the Senior Director General for the tourism for the Travel Industry Management Department under the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism. First of all, you see that the cruise tourism is very high quality tourism sector, with the still maintaining a very high growth rate in recent years. And we see that the cruise tourism is not only the regional tourism, good tourism product line, but also considered as one of the key sector for the travel and tourism industry in the world. The source markets now, I think, just move up from the European, North America, now we'll move to the Asia, especially the Northeast Asia region. And for the cruise tourism in Vietnam, we are very happy that we are located on the strategic north-south maritime traffic route, which also make it accessible destination and the itinerary of the most cruise ship. And at the center, located between the cruise lines, cruise tourist line in the world, between some of the key cruise destination like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Shanghai. So it's easy for Vietnam to participate in short and long-term itinerary between destination in Asia and other regions. Moreover, Vietnam has diverse deep water, has a water sport system stretching from the north to the south Vietnam. So it can completely meet the docking requirement of some large cruise ships in the world, such as Hà Nội International Cruise Port in Quảng Ninh Province, Chân Mây Port in Thừa Thiên Huế Province, Tiên Sa Port in Da Nang City, and some port in Khánh Hòa, Nha Trang Port, in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu province, as well as in Ho Chi Minh City, and especially in the Phu Quoc city, the Phu Quoc Island now in the Kiên Giang province. Most of the seaports are close to the main attraction of Vietnam. We see diversified with a diversified system of tourism resources for the cruise tourists, like the beautiful bays, beaches, also recognized as a World Heritage, as the Hạ Long Bay, in Cát Ba, Nha Trang, Lăng Cô, Côn Đảo, and Phu Quoc Island. some of the big city with diversity and attractiveness in culture, history, and cuisine. In addition, the system of infrastructure, the tourism facility, and also with modern and high quality product for the cool tourists and travelers. In recent years, Vietnam has become a very attractive destination for cool tourists. Each year, we welcome around more than 300,000 tourists from cruise tourists with nearly about 500 pot of call, accounting about 2.5% of the total international visitor to Vietnam. The crew visitor to Vietnam come from different markets, such as Europe, Australia, Japan, Korea, especially some markets such as China and ASEAN. Many large cruise ships in the world had been arrived in Vietnam ports, as the Royal Caribbean International, Quantum of the Sea, Voyage of the Sea, the Dream Cruise, Superstar Aquarius, and some of the very regular port of call is that Hạ Long Bay, Chân Mây, Đà Nẵng, Quy Nhơn, Nha Trang, Ho Chi Minh City, Vũng Tàu, and Phú Quốc. Vietnam has become a very familiar destination in the travel itinerary of international cruise line. With diverse port system, international ships usually select 2 to 3 ports of Vietnam for its call during the same journey. It can explain that the region wide there's only 300,000 visitors via Vietnam rank fourth in Asia in terms of number of the port of call in 2019 after China, Chinese Taipei, Japan, and Thailand. For the development of the cruise tourism in Vietnam, we still have some issue and some limitation that Vietnam cruise tourism had not had a dramatic development yet. The proportion of tourists to Vietnam by sea only account for a small percent, only 2 to 3% of the total tourist arrival to the country. Compared with the route as air or the growth of cruise tourism are still very slow. Even some year it has a decrease. Compared with some countries in the region, the total number of tourists to Asia, the number of cruise visitors to Vietnam seem very small and not adequate to the advantage of the resource and favorable geographical position. Besides, the economic efficiency from cruise activity is not really high. Most cruise tourism products are not so attractive to tourists. The duration onshore during is very short, just only from 8 to more than 12 hours. The limitation of Vietnam cruise tourism activity due to many reasons. We see that since there's some lack of attention and proper investment like this, the seaport system in infrastructure had not met the requirements of cruise tourists. The master plan on the seaport system for tourists had been approved by the government, but only one cruise port had been built in Hạ Long. We see some more the cruise terminal and passenger had been under construction in some destination, but still also in plan. Some seaport had been invested and operated to welcome cruise ships, but most of them have been shared by the facility with the cargo port. The service, the technical system of seaport is not really seen for this. For instance, that due to the cargo to port, so that's most of the seaport has no passenger terminal, and custom service is very limited. The tourism product for cruise tourism still not various, lack of supplement activity, such as entertainment on shore, especially shopping service for passengers. The infrastructure from seaport for tourist center is not convenient and hard to sometimes hard to access. While cruise passengers stay in Vietnam for a very short time, therefore the expenditure of cruise tourists not very high. So also the promotion for the cruise tourism to Vietnam also have been also limited. We have not any official booth at the international ship. Some cruise fair, so there's a limited budget for promotion activity. The access to information with cruise line and also the product for the cruise passenger also limited. The connection between destination with cruise line and other destination in itinerary also have not been effective. That's why we had for the development of the cruise tourism in Vietnam for the time being, for the very near future, we also give some orientation, some plan for this one. So the Vietnam Vice government had oriented the development of cruise tourism, determined to focus on investing and specialize some seaport for all inland waterway port for the cruise tourism, not only for international ocean cruise but also for the shore and river cruise also in Vietnam. The Vietnam Tourism Development Strategy to up to the 2030 also identify sea and island tourism as one of the four main product groups. Therefore, the cruise tourism will be the multi-power, enhanced tourist attraction, contribute to the sustainable and effective development of Vietnam marine economy. To realize this goal, Vietnam need to implement the following tasks. Firstly, investing in the seaport development to bring up some of the cruise port and also passenger terminal, some modern shopping mall, entertainment activity will meet the demand of the cruise visitor. On the condition that we had also lack of some cruise port, in international seaport, there should have some policy to prioritize high cruise line over cargo. The cooperation among port management, operator shipping line, and service provider, shopping center, theme park should be tightened to attract more cruise tourists. Secondly, we pay attention to the cruise tourist market. That's why we spend more promotion activity and to join hand with some destination to promote Vietnam as one of the cruise destinations in the Asia, especially in Southeast Asia. Firstly, the development of orientation of cruise tourism product. So it means that we will urge the industry to have more investment to make more new products and to renew the product for the cruise tourists. Fourthly, enhance the cruise tourism promotion, and also we will also focus and pay attention to the researching cruise tourist market, especially Asian market, focusing on the time and cultural characteristics of this market for the cruise products. And would like to make the phone website participate on the cruise fair activity, some activity among ASEAN countries in terms of cruise tourism. And fifthly, that to improve the custom procedure, simplify administrative procedure for the cruise ship. So we would like to apply the technology high tech to immigration control activity, unify the procedure for tourists while ensure safety and security for guests and the seaport. Sixthly, developing human resource for the cruise tourism, improving the expertise and skill about tourism for government officers who have contact directly with tourists, such as custom police officer, border guards, improve the quality of service staff and tour guide to serve full passenger. And the last but not least, strengthen the destination management. And the destination management also one of the issues that we will have to improve so that we with more product, high quality product for the tourists in general and for the crew visitor in particular. So you see that finally you see that due to the very bad effect of the COVID pandemic in the world as well in the region in Vietnam, and we see that we had to apply some safety procedure so that to make sure the safety of the crew tourists as well as tourism activity in Vietnam as a tourist destination. And we do hope that in this seminar, apart from the discussing the for the market objective and also product market and product, but also I think that we should also mention about some time of the safety assurance for the crew tourism in the new normal in the case that we had to during the COVID-19. So we do hope that we can learn a lot from the participants in the seminar about how we can promote the crew tourism in the region and how we can apply those good example for the development of the crew tourism in Vietnam in the near future. Thank you so much for the kind attention.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Nguyen. That was a very insightful presentation, and thank you for being so open about the challenges that your country faces in terms of receiving cruise ships. Next, moving on, we have Mr. Koji Ogiwara from the city of Yokohama. As many of you may remember, Yokohama became the stage of the first major outbreak on board a cruise ship in February 2020. Ogiwara-san will provide us with an account of the series of events, as well as how this experience has become an important lesson for not only Yokohama, but in Japan as a whole for COVID-19 prevention measures. So without further ado, let us listen to Mr. Ogiwara.
I am Ogiwara from Port of Harbor Bureau, City of Yokohama. Thank you very much for inviting me for such an attractive meeting today. Before we get to the main topics, let me briefly introduce about the Port of Yokohama. Our port is located in the middle of Tokyo Bay and has welcomed many passenger liners. As a Japanese leading international trade port as well as cruise port. In order to respond to increase of membership of ports, in order to respond to the increased number of ships calls, the port newly opened 2 cruise terminals in 2019. And now we have 3 passenger terminals in total. In addition, the metropolitan area has populated of 40 million, which means the largest source market in Japan. As its gateway, Yokohama Port is used as a home port for many passenger ships, taking advantage of its location that is located only 25 minutes ride from Tokyo Haneda International Airport. The number of cruise calls here was being increasing year by year. But in 2020, we had the impact of the COVID-19 domestic vessel called for 47 times. Please see the right table. In terms of the number of departures and arrivals, our port is ranked top in Japan. However, the terminal is located in the urban area, so many sightseeing spots and hotels are located within walking distance, which makes many options for shore excursion available. Now, let me get into the main topic first of all. I am going to talk about Diamond Princess case. As you already knew, Diamond Princess sails round-trip cruises to Asian countries based on Yokohama throughout the year. COVID-19 outbreak on board happened in February 2020. This shows the situation at that time. After 1 month from the arrival, all the passengers and crew completed this disembarkation. The number of the passengers and crew at that time was about 4,000, and those 90% were infected, including many foreigners. Because of the varied nationalities, and we needed medical activities on board the ship and the coordination with various national governments. Since the ship arrival, many problems occurred day after day. Among them, major issues were, as you see, the following four. Based on these expenses and challenges, we will reflect them in the guidelines supervised by the Japanese government and the infection control measures which the Port of Yokohama requires. The guidelines supervised by the Japanese government have been issued toward cruise resumption in fall 2020. Among them, suspension of cruise operation in the event of outbreak, even a single case, can be said a very strict standard in the world. However, detailed descriptions are insufficient and the construction of port rules was required. Therefore, the Port of Yokohama has established further stricter rules by coordination with other Japanese ports and Japanese cruise lines. Let me show you the important points here. At present, Japanese cruise lines have made and submitted against response plan to COVID-19. Next, resumption of accepting domestic cruises. After these guidelines and response plans have been established, the Port of Yokohama resumed short domestic cruise in November 2020 after conducting a trial cruise and response training. The short cruise here is defined as a cruise within 4 days and 3 nights. As the outbreak has ups and downs in Japan, some cruises were cancelled by cruise lines' judgment when a severe situation emerged. Also asked to this month newly set up a mandate to require all passengers to be fully vaccinated. Next, toward this assumption of accepting international cruises. Lastly, toward this assumption of accepting international cruises, the Port of Yokohama has many challenges such as the quarantine methods and responses in infected foreign passengers. However, we will promote coordination with relevant parties. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Ogiwara. And unfortunately, he has not been able to join us for the panel discussion. So we have Ms. Miura joining us later on. And thank you for the presentation. I think it's a very valuable account that you gave from your experience with the Diamond Princess, because that was really the first impact that was that the cruise industry was hit all over the world. So thank you again. Next, we have, last but not the least, Ms. Eve Yen from Carnival Taiwan. Eve shares with us various measures Princess Cruises are taking on board their ships to mitigate the risk of infection, especially using the latest technology. She also provides updates on the latest operation status for Princess and how the current cruises are being operated. So without further ado, Eve, it's your turn for the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here today. I'm Eve Yan from Carnival Taiwan. In this presentation, I would like to talk about cruise industry under the normalization background of epidemic prevention. Here the outline for next 10 minutes, including cruising through a pandemic and how important the vaccine played a role in the cruise industry. We have been idling for 15 months, and it finally resumed to service in this July. Let's see what the new regulations are. Cruising is back. Health protocol. First of all, we can see it's necessary to wear a mask and social distance on board, and keep social distance on board. In addition, sanitation and is therefore enhanced, and so the ventilation system is adjusted. Certainly, it's necessary. Go back. Certainly, it's necessary to increase the frequency of the cleaning and the disinfection. The medical center becomes even more important in order to monitor all the health people on board. And then we have the new app for people to download before boarding, as well as PCR testing and vaccination certificate. There are the new protocols. I believe you all probably hear about it. We can see the embarkation and testing on board procedure, medical and public health, fully vaccinated, quarantine. Okay, this 3 minutes video made by Princess Cruise. Let's have a look. Let me share the video. Please wait a minute. Okay, thanks for watching. Carnival Corporation developed a new system called Ocean Medallion, which improved the function of the ship car and reduced people actual skin contact during the cruise journey. Under the Ocean Medallion, the special function Ocean Orbit is designed to monitor and management the health risk on board cruise ship. So you can trace and track the footprint, how long and how frequent you have ever contact and stay specific person. Please visit Princess official website for more information if you like. I'm vaccinated. What next? Up to date, you can see many countries are already highly covered by vaccine, and I believe it will still keep catch up. In some countries, cruise operations are conditionally accepted to resume under the protocols and regulations. This is US CDC's guidelines. UK and the EU are also available as well. In North America, cruise operation returned by about 10 times during 12 months. That's 12 months. For example, of Princess Cruises, we have both domestic flights in US and UK, starts from Seattle to Alaska and Southampton to UK coastal countries. These domestic flights, including shore excursion, under local authority policies. The health and the well-being of passengers and crew remain top priority for the industry, which already implements some of most stringent safety and hygiene standards. Safety for guests and crew, safety aboard, safety ashore. To demonstrate how recently the cruise industry is, we are going back bigger and better than before, said the Norwegian Cruise Line. Although the epidemic hits the cruise industry, we have taken this opportunity to build a safer way to cruise and travel. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Eve. That was a great presentation, updating us about the Princess Cruises measures to prevent infections on board and on the shore. So now we start the panel discussion. And once again, welcome to the three of you. Thank you for joining us in this panel discussion. I'd like to start by going from the beginning of this pandemic and how it really took an impact on the cruise industry. So I'd like to start with Miura-san. Hello, how are you? And thank you for joining me at the very last minute. I think it has been a challenge for a little bit for you, but great to see you. My question for you to begin with is, what do you think the most important lesson learned through your experience with the Diamond Princess? I think that's something everyone would like to hear about. So if you could please give us your opinion on the whole experience that you had. Oh, and sorry, everyone. I have to mention that she'll have an interpreter accompanying her. So we'll have a moment till we get the answer.
見通しが立たない中で、分かっている情報をどこまでどういうふうに伝達するのかというところで苦労したということなので、もし今後こういうことがないのが一番ですけれど、何かあった時にも経験役立てていくことになるだろうと思います。
When we do not know the environment, what happened to the Diamond Princess and to the Port of Yokohama, we have no idea and information to deliver to our guests and to the people. So that is the most difficult thing. And I will not hope to experience again, but I'd like to utilize these experiences for the future.
I think, well, definitely, because nobody saw this coming at the end of 2019 or at the beginning of 2020. So I imagine the challenge was really overwhelming for you. And Eve, I'd like to direct this question to you. When you learned about the incident of the Diamond Princess, in Yokohama, what was your first reaction to that?
横浜でこのダイヤモンド・プリンセスにコロナが発生したって言った時の最初のどう反応いたしました？いや、最初にないんですよ。言っちゃっていいのかな。
私は当時クルーズの仕事ではありませんでした。ですが港湾局の仕事はしていて急に連絡が入って多数の皆さんが埠頭の方に行ったのを覚えています。
I'm very lucky. I was not an officer for the cruise department. Although I am a member of the Port and Harbor Bureau, I remember the time of that incident happened. Many co-workers, the officials of the cruise promotion departments rushed to the port, to the terminal.
It must have been chaotic. I can only imagine. Okay, moving on from Yokohama, I'd like to direct this question to Eve. How are you, Eve? Welcome once again.
Yes. Hi.
Okay,
I'm fine,
my question.
thank you.
Great. My question to you is, since of course you're based in Taiwan, and Taiwan obviously was one of the few countries which were able to contain the outbreak at the beginning of the pandemic, but experienced a major outbreak a few months ago this year. How did this affect the cruise industry in Taiwan?
Taiwan experienced an outbreak in May 2021, and the Export Dream is the only cruise ship operating in Taiwan during the period, which was also affected and suspended thereafter. Taiwan has been doing great in epidemic prevention, but it's still low in terms of the currency coverage rate of the people fully vaccines. Therefore, Taiwan economy is still concerned about a risk of the cruise resumption, which is the way it is still under the evaluation. Business cruises will operate in Taiwan shortly under the same anti-pandemic standards in North America. In the future, guests and on cruise ship must be fully vaccinated and have a negative PCR test before boarding. And I believe this is a new health protocol, will protect the guests and the cruise company both. Thank you.
Thank you, Eve. Well, the vaccine for sure has accelerated the process towards resumption of cruise operation, even in the U.S. and in Europe too. And we really hope that that momentum will carry over to our region as well, and each of our countries will make more progress in the vaccination rollout process. Okay, thank you. Last but not the least, thank you for your patience until I ask you a question. Mr. Gwen, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Great to hear.
Yeah.
So my first question in this panel discussion for you is, well, Vietnam, generally is one of multiple countries included in one cruise itinerary. And has there been any discussion with the governments of your neighboring countries on possible measures to minimize the risk of COVID-19 infection?
In fact, Vietnam had been closed since last year April. So we plan to reopen for international tourists in November this year. And the first destination will be chosen is Phu Quoc Island, and also maybe the Nha Trang or Khánh Hòa, the Cam Ranh International Airport. So now the government had just issued the new COVID-19 safety procedure and guidelines for all the economic activity, especially the tourism activities. So now we are pushing the domestic travel, and then the step-by-step reopen the country for the international tourists very soon. And we saw that so far we had speed up the vaccination in the country, and up to now we had been about 60 million doses. And we hope that we will fulfill the task about 150 million doses at the end of this year. So that we will be about more than 70% of all the population is vaccinated. So we do hope that with that plan, we can very soon that will be reopened for international market.
Well, that sounds very promising. And I know Thailand was, I think they were just about to reopen Phuket, right?
We learned from the Phuket sandbox also. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that spreads around to the nearby regions as well. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gwen.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, this is a question that I might direct to I think Mr. Gwen again, and maybe all of you, because I think it's a broad question. How do you see the reaction towards, cruising in general? How has that changed before and after the pandemic towards cruising? I mean, for example, Yokohama, of course, it really was the center of attention all over the world with the incident with the Diamond Princess. And has that affected Yokohama's, the local people's image towards cruising?
So in my opinion,
sorry, Mr. Red. This is for mute. Sorry. Yeah, okay. I'll get back to you. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
え地元の人たちの意見としては、再開後は特に次はいつ出るのっていうような問い合わせが増えました。 もともとホームページで寄港の日にちの何の船がいつ来ますっていうのを出していたんですけれど、しばらくそれを出せないでいたので、いつ出るんですか、次はいつ来ますかっていうような問い合わせがありましたので、そんなにネガティブな問い合わせはなかったです。皆さん待ってたんだなって思いました。
Yokohama City has a website to show what kind of ships will call at the port of Yokohama every day or every month. But for a time being, we have no information and we don't have any ships coming to Yokohama. So the local people often ask us when the ship will coming. So they are very looking forward to see the ship coming back again. So we don't have a negative impact on the local people about cruise industry.
Thank you. Well, that is great to hear. I mean, of course, with cruise ships calling each of these local communities or regions, the cooperation of the local people is really necessary, and you can't go without them. So that's really a step closer to resuming cruises for international ships too. Okay, thank you. Mr. Gwen, same question for you, but rather, I guess this would be, how do you say, more towards, well, the image of cruising that you might be aware of among the people of Vietnam, how staff changed before the pandemic to after the pandemic, and how has that affected your plans to develop Vietnam as a cruise destination?
So I think that's for COVID-19 pandemic, the cruise industry, I think has a lot of trainings because of the safety and of our tourists. Because now after the pandemic, the people prefer to the open air, to have some more the nature and the open air. And for the cruise tourism, we see that a very lot of information from Miss Ian about the Francis safety procedure, and also has like some vaccination, ventilation, something like that. But I think there's still some challenges for the cruise industries. And for Vietnam, I think we will give the priority for some kind of the flying and cruise tourists. But for the cruise, we have to think about maybe it's after new normal, when we have to open the market for the flight tourists first, and then we will think about the cruise. But anyway, for the country, and the government has to give the guideline for the cruise tourism development in the country. And now, as I mentioned in my presentation, that in some destination, some cruise port is still under construction. Apart from that, also marina. There's also some marina and now in the construction, and then one of the Masat International Marina is open in Nha Trang city already. So we see that very good potential for the cruise industry in Vietnam after maybe but I think that it takes time for us to have we have to adapt to the new normal situation. So we think that maybe at the end of next year, I'm not sure that, but we think about the next year cruise time, yeah. Maybe I think the cruising time will be almost at the end after the typhoon area in the region. So we will looking for the next season, for the next year season. Okay. So we hope that in that case we also pushing our travel company and the port authority to have the well prepared for the next year season of cruise.
Okay,
thank
great.
you.
Okay, thank you. Eve, is there anything you can relate to? Through I think you have had discussions with your local government and other stakeholders in Taiwan, and have you seen any changes to the people's image or perception towards cruising in general?
Yes, it is. It's very impact our local economy, including cruise industry and the travel industry. So that's we hope resume the operation soon in Taiwan and get more increase the local job opportunity and learn to new normal epidemic operation industry. So I think we have to learn how to cope with COVID-19 virus.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, since we have a little bit more than 8 minutes, I think, towards the end of this panel, I'd like to direct our attention to the future of cruising, and of course that means post-pandemic, hopefully. Eve, I'd like to direct this question to you once again. In your presentation, you mentioned the use and implementation of the newest technology through new apps that you've created and the medallion. Do you think that will become the norm in the cruise industry at large, to use technology in order to reduce physical contact between people?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the production of the mobile device will allow the guests to choose the location mode more freely and more flexibly way. And it also can improve the function of the cruise epidemic prevention and to avoid the crowds as well as the experiencing of a better journey. Thank you.
I mean, I think for a lot of cruise lines, I think apps are really like a big thing right now to create, and I think there's a little bit of a race going on too. I know the Royal Caribbean, they have an app for their passengers as well, and all kinds of other cruise lines too, I guess. It's really and I think it's a big investment too, and I'm really surprised by how the cruise lines actually are able to invest in that kind of thing, when they've lost so much revenue, but it's a really good thing for us, and as a tour operator, I like to see how this would translate to the operation of shore excursions too. That's, I think, another focus in the coming years to come, I guess. Okay, thank you. Miura-san, I have a question for you in terms of the future of cruising. Have you had any discussion with foreign cruise lines, of course, because the domestic cruise lines are already operating at this point, regarding potential measures to be taken when their ships are in port once operations resume?
Did you say it again?
国際クルーズの対策ですかね、ご質問は。
I'll just say this in Japanese. 国際、そうですね、外国船運航までに向けてですね、横浜港に船が入った時の感染対策について具体的な、今ガイドラインがない中ではありますけれども、具体的なそういった協議、具体にどういうふうに岸壁でのオペレーションをするかという協議はされていますでしょうか？
具体的なオペレーションの協議はまだですけれど、 その国内クルーズの方はやっているので、国内クルーズの先生さんはこのような感染症対策をしていますよっていう情報をもとにお話し合いはしています。
So far, we have not concrete planning for concrete measures for the international cruise resumption, but we already resumed domestic cruises. So based on that measures against COVID-19 for domestic cruises, we're going to follow the rules, and we want to adopt those measures to the international cruise first. But it is not decided yet.
Thank you. It does seem like countries where domestic cruising is already operating, they have a little bit of an advantage because they have the experience in operating a cruise during this pandemic. So I think that is a very good place to start from. And of course, we have Singapore and Hong Kong operating as well. So I guess they have some concrete ideas for guidelines as well. Okay, thank you. I've been looking through the Q&A box. Fortunately, I have not had any questions from the audience, but if any of you are willing to ask any questions to our panelists, you're free to do now. We still have about 2 minutes left in our time for session 1, so please fire on. If anybody. If not, I'll just ask one more question let's see. Yes. Okay. Mr. Gwen, you got the last question. I think, not only the cruise industry, but in the travel industry at large, of course, sustainability is a very big topic now for the future of tourism in general. And I'd like to know, in Vietnam, in the plans that you have to develop Vietnam as a cruise destination, how you're trying to incorporate the principle of sustainability in your plans, and if there's any examples in which you are working with the local community to enhance the idea of sustainability through cruising. If there's anything you can share with us, that'll be great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question. So the principle for the tourism development in Vietnam that we develop a sustainable and responsible tourism industry. It means that we, based on the 4 pillars, the cultural heritage, nature, and also the 2 kinds of culture, the heritage tourism. And Vietnam had been see for 3 years continuously. We have the virtual award for the as a heritage destination in Asia and in the world. Yeah, and in Vietnam we have so many UNESCO recognized world heritage, including the nature and the culture. And happily that's all the seaport that have the port of call for the cruise ship. It also is very close to our world heritage. So for the crew visitor, they enjoy some of the heritage package in Vietnam also. And apart from that, nowadays we also promote some of the new tourism product, like the wellness tourism products with Zen and also with some wellness with our traditional herbs. And also we promote the rural agri-tourism and rural tourism, because you see that in Vietnam the rural population is very high, and many people now living in with some of the rural products. So as a green tourism, we also have to promote rural tourism also. And one of the we also to promote that is nightlife. That means the nightlife activities, some kind like the night markets, like in Taipei or Taichung, are very well known in Taipei. So that in Vietnam also we will promote that also. So it means that when the international travelers arrive Vietnam, they can enjoy not only the culture, the nature, but also the rural area and also nightlife activities. So we do hope that due to the new normal situation after the COVID-19 pandemic, we will have some more, we have to renew some products and to make more new products so that adapt to the new demand of our tourists. And not only for international tourists, but also for domestic travelers. And we do hope that now we are in that guideline, and from the Ministry of Tourism of Vietnam, we also give the guideline for the local community, and we give support for the local community to develop those kind of new products. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nguyen. So we are just about, the time is just about up. So as I reminded you all, I think we're taking a picture. So if you pose in front of your cameras and give us your best smiles. I think I'm giving the cue, right? Is everyone ready? I'm not even sure how the picture will be taken, but let us just smile and hold for a minute there. Okay, let's go. So on the count of 3, I think the picture will be taken. So let's go. 1, 2, 3. Are we good?
Okay, thank you. I'm so happy I have the 2 quizzes here.
Yes, thank you. So everyone, that'll be it for session 1. If you could give us a round of applause virtually through, I think there's a reaction button. So I just give one here. Although we can't hear the actual applause, I believe this will reach to our panelists. So Mr. Nguyen, Miura-san, Eve, thank you very much for joining us. I hope this was a fruitful discussion for all of us. And we look forward to seeing each other around. And thank you everyone for joining us for session 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Before we move on to the next section, please the moderator and the panelists for second panel section, please turn the camera on. And rest, please keep your camera off. Thank you. Moving on, we are going to start today's second panel session. We will be hearing from speakers representing different Asian archipelago destinations on what to offer cruise lines, and on the other hand, we also will have perspectives from cruise experts and cruise lines. Now, let's welcome the panel moderator for this section, Ms. Yap Suk Ling.
Thank you, Lillian. Good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to session 2 of the 2021 Asia Archipelago Cruise Industry Online Forum. My name is Suk Ling. I'm from Asian Overland Services, a destination management company from Malaysia. Asian Overland was established since 1976, 45 years ago, and is one of the co-founders of ACSN, Asia Cruise Services Network, an alliance of local DMCs, each one experts in the country they represent. I was also the past chairlady of ACSN. So in this session, the topic is sharing from Asian countries with tourism resources on archipelago destinations and how to market to cruise lines. We have a lineup of very interesting and diversified speakers, ranging from port authorities, the Ministry of Tourism, cruise lines, and a cruise consultant company. The order of this session will be a presentation by each of our distinguished speakers. If time permits, we will have a Q&A session after that. And please do drop your questions in the Q&A box. We would love to hear from you. And we will close the session with a group photo of the panelists. So sit back and enjoy. We will start with a screening of a video from a distinguished guest from Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno, who is unfortunately not able to be with us today. He is the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economic from the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economic of Republic of Indonesia, the largest archipelago in the world. Let us watch the video.
Increasing the facilities, mapping tourism patterns, and developing tourism packages so that the number of visitors to Indonesia, especially from cruise ships, may increase during the post-pandemic era. I thank you for your understanding. May God bless all of our efforts, and may God bless Indonesia and the cruise industry. Again, big gratitude. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A wonderful Indonesia.
Thank you. It is very heartening to know of Indonesia's government commitment to revive the cruise industry from the dire effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many governments, I'm sure, is also looking at the same. So next, we have from the country where you can have more fun, the Philippines. We have with us today Ms. Verna Esmeralda, let me get this right, Buensu Seso, the Undersecretary for the Tourism Development Sector, Philippine Department of Tourism. Ms. Esmeralda, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. To my fellow esteemed speakers, guests, and all the participants in today's forum, a good afternoon to all of you. And from the Philippines, we say mabuhay. First, I would like to thank the organizers of this forum, the Asia Cruise Services Network or ACSN, the Taiwan Maritime and Port Bureau, and the Association of Cruise Development Taiwan for inviting the Philippine Department of Tourism to be part of this program. This is indeed a timely initiative as we all need to work together to formulate strategies to bring back Asia's cruise industry to where it was before the pandemic. Please allow me to reintroduce the Philippines to you today and share its vast potentials as a cruise tourism destination. The Philippines is one of the largest archipelagic nations, blessed with diverse natural landscapes and richly endowed islands in the Asian region. Its 7,641 islands and islets are interconnected through bodies of water surrounding this beautiful tropical country. Being an archipelago, one that is dependent on ships, boats, and nautical highways to move goods, services, and people across the thousands of islands in the country, harnessing its potential as a maritime nation is but natural. Its long history as a maritime country can be traced back to the time when the Philippines was a transshipment hub for goods, traversing the vast oceans and seas surrounding the islands of the Pearl of the Orient. Over the years, this has molded the kind of culture that the country has now. Its people have become naturally connected with water. It is thus understandable that today, the Philippines has the second highest share of manpower working in the global maritime industry. But the country has so much more to offer as it further explores wider opportunities in the maritime sector. While the country continues to position itself as a center for maritime manpower resource and training, the government, through its Department of Tourism, has embarked on implementing programs to develop the Philippines as a major cruise destination in Asia. Today, the Philippines is gradually gearing up to welcome you to its shores. Allow me to sail you through our Philippines, the archipelago of diversity and fun. The country is strategically located at the center of the major home ports and source markets in the region. The northern part of the country is easily connected to Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the South China region like Hainan, Guangzhou, and Xiamen, while for longer routes, we can be a significant segment of itineraries emanating from Japan and Korea. The central region of the country is easily accessible to ships coming from Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, while the southern part connects easily with Indonesia and the Sabah region of Malaysia. The Philippines, though quite a distance from both North and the Southern Asian countries, offers new and exciting destinations that complement the offerings of our neighbors. To come up with compelling cruise itineraries and shoreside excursions for the evolving demand and taste of the cruise market. What do we have to offer? Well, let me start with the most obvious ones. The Philippines boasts of its world-class island destinations. 4 of these islands have consistently topped the list of Condé Nast's world's best islands. Number 1 in the list is Palawan, known for its beautiful islands lined with beaches of white sand, verdant flora, and limestone cliffs. We have Boracay Island, known for its powdery white sand beach and consistently voted as the number 1 beach in the world by Travel and Leisure. In fact, when you walk on the sands of Boracay, they will really be very cool to the feet and not hot. Next in our list is Siargao Island, known as the surfing capital of the country. It is a favorite destination of the young and sporty, and even those who long to have a taste of paradise, even for just a day. And of course, Cebu Island, also known for its white sand beaches and its rich cultural history and traditions. Aside from these five major islands, our smaller island destinations have been popular among expedition ships and high-end smaller ships that prefer the peace and quiet of nature and beaches that have become their own private sanctuaries during their visits. Among these are Bucas Grande Island in Surigao del Norte, Cuatros Islas, Himoklan Island, and Kalangaman Island, all in the province of Leyte. Up north, we have the famous Batanes Island, known as an archipelago island in itself. We also have Romblon Island, famous for its white sand beaches, its colorful traditions, and its marble industry. In the southern part of the country, Camiguin is one of the famous volcanic islands also frequented by expedition ships. And of course, we have Balikasag Island in Bohol, among the country's top diving sites. There are many more beautiful islands I can talk endlessly about, but I will leave them for you to discover and experience yourselves firsthand when it's time to travel to the country. Apart from our islands, the Philippines is also blessed with numerous heritage sites that have been recognized by the UNESCO. We have the Banawe Rice Terraces, the Tubataha National Park, the Puerto Princesa Underground River, the city of Vigan, Miagao Church, and the Chocolate Hills of Bohol. These are just some of our UNESCO World Heritage sites that can be made part of your shoreside itineraries. To complement this selection of destinations, there are other reasons why the Philippines is such a diverse and fun destination to visit. First, the Philippines is known, of course, for its Filipino hospitality. The Filipinos are known to be happy, warm, and caring people with the biggest of smiles. Back in the day, the Philippines was known with the tagline, "Where Asia wears a smile." And we welcome our tourists, our visitors as our own. Second is the wide use of the English language anywhere you go in the country, from the major cities to the smallest of our islands. We also assure you of a value for money, experiences. Proximity-wise, we are easily connected to the major home ports in the region and other ports of call in North and South Asia. And of course, our islands, more than 7,000 of them, can be your private playground or a hideaway for a day. The Philippines is also famous for its festivals, celebrated almost year-round, a demonstration of the country's rich and colorful cultural tradition. With our love for music and the performing arts, a number of Filipino artists have gained a huge following in the international scene. And of course, our culinary delights, one of our best-kept secrets, are now ready to be shared. Eating in the Philippines is a national pastime, and we are known to take around 5 to 6 meals in a day. So you can imagine that Filipinos take our food seriously. Philippine cuisine has unique flavor profiles that provide interesting combinations of salty and sweet, sour and bold, all in one mouth-watering bite. As a growing gastronomy and farm tourism destination, we pride ourselves in our local produce and the freshest of seafood. We are also famous for our beer and our lechon, which never fails to dominate every celebration. Our food offerings also reflect various cultural influences, a display of our country's colorful history made more pronounced through our food. In terms of shoreside product offerings, our excursion programs are as diverse as our islands. We have culture and heritage programs, nature encounters, swim and dive, sun and beach, shop and dine, and health and wellness. and other programs that can be specially designed to suit the specific requirements of the cruise market. The Philippines, true to its commitment to support the regional cruise industry, has offered a safe haven for cruise ships during the pandemic. The government, through the Department of Tourism, has actively supported our industry partners to facilitate seamless operations during this pandemic. While everyone was caught unprepared for this crisis, we managed to ensure that we extended our best possible service to our partners. In fact, there were 42 cruise ships that anchored in Manila in 2020. 24 of these served as quarantine facilities for repatriated crew. We assisted 8 manning companies to access government support and facilitation of operational requirements, and we facilitated 11,704 rooms for the repatriated crew, and the country allowed crew changes amidst lockdowns and closed borders. To prepare for the opening of borders and the resumption of cruise operations in the region, we undertook several programs, including the preparation of health and safety protocols for the operation of shore excursion programs. We are also formulating a domestic cruise tourism strategy and roadmap. The DOT is also prioritizing the vaccination program for its tourism workers. And to maintain our presence in the cruise tourism industry, we continue to participate in regional alliances on cruise tourism development in the region. In the pipeline are also major projects aligned with our vision of making the Philippines not only an important port of call, but a major cruise hub in the region. The Solar Cruise Port in Manila is being prepared, and the Puerto Princesa Cruise Port is currently being developed. We are continually enhancing our destinations and government policies to ensure excellent guest experiences. And we are now implementing programs with emphasis on sustainable tourism moving forward. With all these efforts that our government is undertaking to steer the wheel towards where we envision the Philippines to be in the regional and global tourism industry, we also continue to live up to our continued commitment of helping reboot Asia's bid to be the next important cruise tourism playground. We share our neighbors' vision, and we are committed as ever to take action. As I end this presentation, allow me to please share with you this short video to remind you to come to the Philippines where more fun awaits. Thank you everybody and mabuhay.
Every day, the Philippines does more than wait. Putting together new adventures. And experiences for you to try. We're making our sites better for you to see. Cooking up new dishes for you to taste. And preparing cultural discoveries for you to feel. And we're not stopping. Because we know that you deserve more. We can't wait to welcome you.
Thank you for the very informative and lovely presentation. Now we know Philippines is not only more fun, but there's a lot more to discover. So we're looking forward to more cruise development in Philippines so that more cruise lines can discover your beautiful country. So next, we have Ms. Shoko Yumi Sashi-san, the Deputy Section Tourism Division, Kagoshima Prefectural Government of Japan. Let us hear from Ms. Yoko Shumishashi-san about this much sought-after destination.
Good afternoon. My name is Shoko Yumisashi. I am an officer of Tourist Division of Kagoshima Prefectural Government. Thank you very much for giving me the great opportunity to introduce Kagoshima. First, I'd like to share with you about the outline of Kagoshima. Japan consists of 4 main islands. Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu. Kagoshima is located in the southernmost part of Kyushu. It is about 600 kilometers from north to south. Also, it consists of the mainland and 26 inhabited islands. It's only 2 hours directly by air from Tokyo, Shanghai, Taipei, and Incheon to Kagoshima. And it's also well connected by cruise ship as a gateway of Japan. The population is about 1.58 million. An average annual temperature of Kagoshima is about 20 degrees Celsius, so it has a temperate to subtropical climate. Next, I'd like to share with you about the 2 World Natural Heritage Sites in Kagoshima. In 1993, Yakushima has been registered as a World Natural Heritage Site. Amami, Oshima, and Tokunoshima also has been registered this year. First, I'd like to introduce Yakushima. In the past, the port has welcomed many cruise ships, up to about 29,000 tons. About 20% of the island is preserved as a World Natural Heritage Site, and you can see wild deer and monkeys without going deep into the mountains. From a long time ago, people of Yakushima have been taking care of the natural environment to live together. However, the convenience of transportation from Kagoshima's mainland to Yakushima has improved. In 1989, the number of tourists have increased sharply and left damage to forests and mountains. And the problem continues even after being registered as a World Natural Heritage Site. So local people, relevant ministry, and government agencies continue to tackle these issues to keep the balance of environment protection and tourism. These include maintaining facilities like mountain trails and toilets, and running local buses. To climbing entrance of the mountain trail to Jomon Cedar, that is a symbol of Yakushima. Next, I'd like to introduce Amami, Oshima, and Tokunoshima. Amami, Oshima, and Tokunoshima is a home for unique animals and plants, including endangered species. Here is an important area for protecting these animals and plants. Therefore, in some area of Amami, Oshima, and Tokunoshima, strict rules for visiting the sites are being implemented to limit the number of visitors to forests, which require visitors to enter forests with a guide and other such measure. In addition, to protect the precious ecosystem of islands, Many of the rare animals and plants in Amami Oshima and Tokunoshima are protected by law not to be captured or collected. Now, let me introduce you to the tourist spots in Amami Oshima. Amami Oshima's port of Naze, where cruise ship dock is located, once welcomed the 83,000-ton ship, Westerdam. As I introduced, Amami Oshima is full of the blessing of nature. A special guide can provide information about these rare animals and plants during a virgin forest tour on the island. A population activity is kayaking through Amami Oshima's mangrove forest. Next is Tokunoshima. Tokunoshima's port of Hetono has yet to welcome an overseas cruise ship, and the maximum size of cruise ship docked to date is less than 26,000 tons. It's one of the ports that we definitely want you to visit as a new Japan that you haven't seen yet. With natural scenery that varies dramatically all in a small, compact space. Tokunoshima is like a natural theme park that can be easily enjoyed. This is a raised coral reef caused by erosion waves. The population name of this formation is Eyeglasses Rock. Watching the sunset through the hole is beautiful. This is about 200 meters long arched tunnel made from naturally growing Japanese sago palm. Kagoshima also has 2 cultural heritage sites in mainland. There are many attractions of World Heritage in Kagoshima. Please consider island hopping tour to go around World Natural and Cultural Heritage sites, such as traveling from Tokunoshima, Amami Oshima, and Yakushima to Kagoshima's mainland. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you for the very interesting and detailed presentation, Yumi Sashi-san. It's very heartening to know that there are procedures set up to protect Kagoshima's natural beauty, especially in its heritage sites. Just a reminder that you can actually put your questions in the Q&A box. We would love to hear from you. So just put your questions, whatever you might have to ask. So next, we have Mr. Vincent Tu. He is the Chief Maritime Affairs Division, Maritime and Port Bureau of Ministry of Taiwan Cruise, Taiwan, the heart of Asia. Mr. Vincent, we look forward to hear from you.
Honored to be invited by ACDT to participate in the second session of the forum. I am pleased to have the opportunity to share with you on behalf of Maritime and Port Bureau of Taiwan about Taiwan's port infrastructure, CIQS, sustainable tourism, and the abundance of diverse agricultural products for cruise logistics supply. The MPB is the Shipping Administration Authority of Taiwan, responsible for the supervision and management as well as policy proposal of the shipping industry, vessels, seafares, maritime affairs, and the commercial ports. The MPB exercises cross-industry collaboration and coordination under the leadership of the Ministry of Transportation and Communications. Today I will share with you the topic of new cruise paradise, Taiwan and its offshore islands. In 2015, the United Nations General Assembly formally adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, along with the set of 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDG in short. As a member of the global village with a population of 23 million, Taiwan is unable to join the United Nations due to the international political restraints. But the Taiwan government still follows this agenda, translating global goals into national policy and the national policies into action on the ground. Island tourism with a small cruise ships is in line with the Sustainable Tourism SDG 8 and the Marine Sustainability SDG 14. Therefore, the MPB has included island hopping cruise in the Marine Highway Program for long-term policy planning in order to promote port infrastructure upgrades, island tourism hospitality improvements, and the marketing incentive optimizations. Before the COVID-19, there were 39 cruise lines with 79 vessels in Asia in 2019, of which 5 lines were classified by Korea as luxury, and the 4 lines are as expedition, accounting for approximately 23% of the total. However, if calculated by the number of passengers, the top end of this pyramid is estimated to account for less than 10% of the market in terms of passenger number, with an estimate 400,000 passengers in Asia per year. Unlike mainstream cruise, where thousands of passengers visit at a time, small cruise ships are a suitable way to travel for sustainable island tourism. High-end small cruise ships generally have less than 700 passengers on a 12-night long-haul cruise for in-depth travel, while expedition cruises have geologists, biologists, and experts familiar with the local culture on board as guides. Cities in Taiwan have been internationally recognized as one of the best places to visit in the world. Taiwan perfectly combines the modern element with traditional culture and therefore create diverse cuisine and cultural landscapes, which enable every traveler to have their needs fulfilled during their stay in Taiwan. Please enjoy these 2 videos. is not only satisfying your heart, but also your stomachs. Please see this.
In Taiwan we say 赞赞赞 yeah, that's good. 赞
一口小米粽子，再一口小米酒。这是我们招牌菜。哦，好棒哦！
To discover the beauty of Taiwan, taking a cruise would be a good choice to travel around. We have all kinds of ports and harbor, including international and domestic commercial ports, and the fishery harbor. To assist you in realizing your port facility and the service, we made the brochure covering information of 20 ports and harbor in Taiwan. Nobel Caledonia cruise brought nearly 100 British passengers to Taiwan by air in 2018. After staying in Taipei for one night, they boarded the cruise ship from Keelung and embarked on a 8-night cruise that leading 7 ports of call and travel through 10 cities in Taiwan. Finally, the passenger departure from foreign to Japan and flew back to UK from Osaka. To assist the cruise company on its voyage, we introduced held a coordination meeting to facilitate the CIQS moving process. In addition, to ensure smooth berthing at an international commercial port and the reception capability, the NPB and the Tourism Bureau joined with the cruise company's tour staff and coordinate with the Kinmen, Hongqing, Thai government, and the Taiwan International Port Corporation to conduct both surveillance, and tour promotion. This is case of the Sustainable Tourism through Island Hopping Cruise was fully rated by NPD and used. Now I'll show you this video.
I've been to the village. The history in the Kinmen Islands was very interesting. The welcome we've received wherever we've been, and the people have been so friendly. I've enjoyed that very much.
The sea is quite harsh and rough on the coast. They were the two aspects of it I do like.
It's a country that I'm really glad I've been to visit.
It's very different. It's an adventure to come here.
We are ready to accommodate cruise ships around the world. Welcome to Taiwan. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent, for that very interesting presentation. So colorful Taiwan and so many things to do. And we're especially heartening to hear about Taiwan's focus to adhere to the sustainable goals of United Nations. And I totally agree about the food in Taiwan. It's just so wonderful. I can still remember the little xiao long bao that we had in Taiwan, hosted by our ACSN partner, Golden Foundation. It's unforgettable. So I hope you will be able to taste it one day too. So next, our next speaker is Mr. Roy Ijichi. Ijichi-san is the commercial manager for Ponan in Japan, Korea, and he is also an expedition leader of Ponan. So we will love to hear from you, Iji-san.
So thank you very much for your participation, and thank you to the organizing committee of this event. I'd like to speak about potential of expedition cruising in East Asia. My name is Ryo Ijichi, and I am the commercial manager for Japan and South Korea, as well as an expedition leader for Ponan. As you know, expeditions is really about smaller ships compared to the larger conventional ships that run around most of the major ports in East Asia. And we are trying to start a new sector of expedition cruising in East Asia. We are known to be the world leader of luxury expeditions. We hold 13 vessels. Almost all of them work doable in expedition mode. And we normally bring our ship to East Asia every year in the spring or autumn time, and we are planning for expanding the fleet's deployment into East Asia. So we have 13 ships across the world. One is Le Commandant Charcot, which just debuted a few weeks ago. And we have the Luponon, which is the three-masted sailing ship. And then the rest of the 10 ships that will run as an expedition ship in Japan. Ponan is known as the most environmentally friendly cruise line from the German NGO, and we are very much prided in being the most low carbon footprinted company in the industry. We have held a lot of initiatives in being as much as possible to be low impacted operations when we run in anywhere, including in the expeditions. And we believe that any vessel that runs in an expedition mode should be highly concentrated in working on being environmentally friendly and with the lowest carbon footprint possible. So these are some of the initiatives that we've been taking. One of the big element for us is that all of our new expeditions are validated only after we organize a strict environmental impact assessment. And also we run scoutings and meetings with the local community and local government for getting the confirmation that they would welcome us beforehand the actual operation commences. We also have our own foundation since 2019, aiming to conserve the ocean and poll and promote exchanges. All of our vessels are CO2 emissions are offsetted by 150% as well. So we are a carbon positive company. We run under a group called Group Artemis, which has high brands all over the world, and we are part of this group. We also enhance a lot of partnerships in enhancing our educational experiences, such as National Geographic, the Louvre Museum, Smithsonian Journeys. So we not only operate our cruise ships, but we also partner with many of these world-renowned museums and media to enrich the program so that the passengers would get further knowledge of where they are sailing. So expeditions are really initially about Antarctica. We send 4 ships to Antarctica. And as you can see, it just goes right into the wild nature and experience what Antarctica is about. We've started to expand our destinations on how we operate our expeditions. This is an image of South Pacific. We also go to the Arctic for wild animals like the orcas. And we also sail in the west coast of Kimberley's, which is the Australian west coast, with also wild nature as well. So until now, expedition was really more about visiting the areas that are not habited, going to the wild nature. But as we expand our destinations, we are seeing somewhat a little bit softer expedition around the world, and this is what we are trying to develop in East Asia as well. So in 2022, next year, we are hosting the first expedition in the Okinawan Islands, and this will be the first expedition cruise that would run inside the Japanese waters. It runs in 2 departures, one leaving Osaka on May 24th, arriving to Keelung on May 31. And then the second one leaves Keelung in May 31, arriving to Naha on June 7. And as you can see, all the visiting islands in between the departure and arrival ports are rural, remote islands of Okinawa. Most of them do not even have a port facility. So in most cases, all of the landings that would commence in these remote islands will be using our Zodiacs. For example, the island of Zamami, as you can see, the small village in the center, this is the central village of Zamami. And we would, alongside the ship, about 1 kilometer off the village, and we would connect the village and also an inhabited island called Gahi Island, and we would kind of triangularly connect within the main vessel, the village, and the island with our Zodiacs for the passengers to enjoy either the village or the beaches of Zamami. This is how Zamami looks. Again, one of the most beautiful islands of Okinawa. And then we go to Kume Island, a little bit larger island, but still with pristine beaches and great cultural traditions remain here. So it's not just about the nature of the beach, but it's also about who lives there and getting to know the exchanges of the culture element as well. So this is some of the images of the island. We then go to Taketomi Island. It's a very famous island with the traditional housings. We'll go there early morning so that we would be able to roam in the village undisturbed with other tourists that come from Ishigaki. And then we go to Iriomote Island that recently became the World Heritage, and we'll be offering options of activity here as well. The last island is going to be Yonaguni Island, the most western island of Japan, and you can actually see Taiwan from Yonaguni if weather permits. So this would be the last island before reaching to Keelung the next day. Again, untouched island with so many beaches where there's no infrastructure or anything mankind. Passengers on board Punon are mainly European, Oceanian Americans, and many of them are 50 years and above. Most of them are well-traveled and strong desire to learn the area. The per-night ratio is about 600 euro per person. Looking at the passenger through budget, normally it would cost them about 10,000 euro if they were to travel in the Okinawa expedition, as well as a round-trip airfare. So the demand of what they would receive during this trip is pretty high, considering the cost of the trip that they are taking. So we do need to enrich the program as much as possible to make it a very full full experienced expedition cruise. Preferences from our passengers is that the density is not preferred even before COVID pandemic. Special exclusive experience is required, private time is appreciated, high interest in local food and art and culture, social responsibility, low environmental impact is required, and most cases, including ourselves, most of the expeditions are preferred in an all-inclusive mode. Ports and landing sites that are preferred, they definitely do not prefer industrial ports. Scenery and ports are very important, and access to the tourist attractions is very important. And we don't actually need a port facility, as we can utilize our tender boats and 14 of the Zodiacs that we equip in each of our vessels. So some of the images of conventional small ship cruising, and we're hoping to add on the expedition element into these habited islands. So something like we're trying to aim for a product that is in between a full spec expedition in Antarctica and a small ship yachting cruise in the Mediterranean is the sort of the in-between product is what we're trying to aim to build in East Asia. So just similar images of how we run. So challenges in expeditions around East Asia for Ponan is identifying the destinations beyond Japan. We have strong interest in Japan and we are further investigating, but we need to look further in South Korea and Taiwan and see how can we make the visits in South Korea and Taiwan actually a content of an expedition and not just a visit for the cabotage regulations of Japan. So we're hoping to learn more about South Korea and Taiwan and really wanting to see what is the products that we can offer as an expedition in the other neighboring countries of Japan in East Asia. So that's about it. I'm just in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation, Iji-san. Firstly, the statement that says Ponan is the most low carbon footprint company in the industry is actually very awesome. Yeah. And at the same time, you have actually told us a lot of insights that many of us could gain from your talk. And especially, I would say, from South Korea and also from Taiwan. I'm sure many of them would be very interested to develop what you seem to indicate that is required from Ponan. Thank you. So speaking to us next is Mr. Michael Mihachlov. He is the Director, Destination Management of the Holland America Group. And Michael, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me the chance to talk to you about Seabourn. Seabourn is one of the brands within the Carnival Corporation. Specifically within the Holland America Group, we have Princess Cruises, Holland America Line, P&O Cruises Australia, and Seabourn. Seabourn is very much the 6-star ultra luxury brand. You can see some of the commercial positioning here for the different brands within Carnival Corporation. Each is targeting a different segment of the market. So for Seabourn, really the brand promise is the finest ultra luxury voyages designed to please the most discerning traveller by offering beyond the expected in places beyond the ordinary. So extraordinary really becomes a theme of the Seabourn brand. Within the fleet, currently there are 2 600 berth vessels, Seabourn Encore and Seabourn Ovation, and then there are 3 450 berth vessels, Seabourn Odyssey, Seabourn Sojourn, and Seabourn Quest. Now, coming into the fleet, we have 2 custom-made expedition vessels, 264 packs in total. I'll go into those 2 ships in a little more detail shortly. Seabourn likes to position itself as the world's finest luxury resort at sea. And when you step on board the ships, they truly are beautiful. Now, in regards to the next generation of seaborne, these are the expedition vessels that are still being built, in fact. Expedition vessels are custom-made polar ice class 6 hulls to be able to explore the polar regions into the equatorial zone, including the Amazon, around the South Pacific, the Kimberley region of Australia, and we also follow seasonal migrations. So simply these vessels are designed to go anywhere on the planet and to be more or less self-sufficient for long periods of time. They're also incredibly energy efficient and low emission. So we like to categorize the expedition segment as a safari at sea. All of the expedition vessels and the vessels non-expedition can be fitted with equipment on particular itineraries to be able to explore in depth. And you can see there we have kayaks, we have zodiacs, and the new vessels will even have 6-man submarines to explore the underwater world, which is a real breakthrough for our corporation, and it's very exciting. That's a beautiful shot where you can see a fantastic interaction with the marine wildlife there, and that's in one of the polar regions. This is the kind of experience that you can have on an expedition vessel. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the World Voyage, originally scheduled for 2022. It has been postponed to 2024. This is a fantastic experience that will take in a lot of Asian destinations and highlights. So a few of the highlights there are going to be on your itinerary map there. You can see particularly within Asia, we're going to go through Indonesia, the Philippines, Taiwan, including the Penghu Archipelago, and up to Korea, China, Hong Kong, then through Southeast Asia, and transitioning over to the Middle East and through to Europe. This can be purchased at either as one long voyage, 145 days, or it can be purchased in segments. And you can see there a variety of segments, including Los Angeles to Keelung, 72 days. You've got segments including Keelung to Piraeus, 73 days. Or you can take a smaller segment, Sydney to Keelung, for example, 33 days. A few of the feature ports, you can see there, we've got Manila, we've got Keelung, where we are doing an included special event, which is for World Cruise guests only. So the ones that purchase the entire 145 days get a complimentary evening. And on this particular itinerary, that one will be in Taipei. You can see there China, we've got extended optional journeys, which for those joining in China, you can actually do a land tour before or after your voyage. We've also got the option for Angkor Wat in Cambodia, ex-Vietnam, and we've also got the signature experience in Koh Kud, which is a private island experience in Thailand, where we rent out the whole island for the day, and we do the signature experiences such as the caviar in the surf. Just a few more of the highlights of that journey. In regards to shore excursions, Seabourn is the official cruise partner of UNESCO World Heritage, and we have been for some time, and we're continuing that commitment. So when you take a Seabourn shore excursion into a World Heritage area, you'll always be getting something a little more than what you can buy off the shelf. And that really is part of the Seabourn promise to our guests, that you will have a deeper immersion and have a deeper understanding having visited the World Heritage sites all around the world. also have an expedition style experience on those non-expedition ships. And where in the Mediterranean and Caribbean region, those vessels, that's the current fleet of 5, they have a marina facility on board where we basically have the power boats, all the toys and fun stuff that you like to spend your leisurely days at the beach on. Those are all removed, and on those longer voyages going through some of the more remote regions of the world, they're replaced with zodiacs and kayaks. And an expedition team comes on board and will accompany the tours, whether they're using local boats, using our own boats with local guides, or using local guides on kayaks. Those expedition team members will be available to provide expert insights in botany, in geography, in biology. They're all experienced naturalists and scientists. And they also extend that learning experience through to what's known as the Seabourn Conversations, which are at night in the Discovery Centre, where they elaborate on things that you've either encountered on the day prior or the days ahead that you're likely to encounter on the days ahead. In terms of shore experiences, there is a collection, the cultural collection, which focuses on those World Heritage Sites in partnership with UNESCO. Bespoke collection is really about private arrangements. We have our own private arrangement concierge. The adventure collection really forms that Ventures by Seabourn experience I just described. Mindfulness with Dr. Weil, who is our mindfulness partner. Those are experiences that really focuses on health and well-being. Epicurean collection, Seabourn is the official cruise partner of Thomas Keller, who is a world famous chef. So Epicurean collection utilised that partnership to really find the best flavours of different destinations on more of a culinary themed excursion. Essential collection is really giving an insight into a destination, quite often through walking tours. And then journeys are the multi-day pre or post experiences that we offer before or after joining the ship. So Seabourn Journeys, wherever there is a turnaround, that is a passenger exchange, we offer guests the chance to tour in that region or into other neighbouring countries that are accessible from that turnaround port over a multi-day experience. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of insight into the Seabourn brand and particularly the expedition category. We're always looking for new opportunities, new itineraries, new destinations and new experiences. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for the marvelous presentation, Michael, on Seabourn. I'm sure many of you, like me, are ready to book the next available voyage for some well-deserved pampering and much-needed pampering, actually, as soon as our international borders are open. Yeah. So before we go to our last speaker, please remember to give us some questions that you may have on the Q&A box. Yeah, we would love to hear from you. And our last but not least speaker is Mr. Yoshi Okuma. He is the Managing Director of OK Yoshi LLC, a travel consultant company. And Yoshi has formerly worked in JTB GMT Japan. Yoshi-san, please take it away.
Panel, 2021 Asia Archipelago Cruise Industry Online Forum. Congratulations. And I would like to talk about the World Heritage Archipelago from Taiwan to Kagoshima, Japan. My name is Yoshi Okuma. This is a little introduction of myself. I have been with JTB, a well-known company in Japan for more than 30 years. I have been doing shore excursion operation for many cruise lines from 1980s. and I'm a proud member of ACSN, co-founder from Japan. 1980s to 1990s, luxury cruise lines. At that time, luxury people, cruise line people looked at the Asia and Japan. Mid-sized ship first, Royal Viking Cruise Lines. Royal Viking Sun is the pic. This is the picture. This was the best ship at that time, and they came to Yokohama, Kobe, Nagasaki very often, and we did so much operations there. And this is QE2, Cunard. This is my very first operations at Yokohama. That was a wow experience for me, so I became to like cruise operation and cruise lines. Saga Field, Vista Field is a Cunard expedition type, but those are also the luxury people, luxury cruise lines. And this was the Japanese owner, Crystal Harmony and the Crystal Symphony. That was the very luxury, and the most of the passengers are Americans. Americans luxury people at that time. Luxury yacht expedition and small ship. I did operation of the Sea Goddess 1 and 2. Small ship, less than 100, but everybody very, very rich. Frontier Spirit expedition type, NYK, the Japanese ship, small ship, expedition ship, became Bremen later on. And this ship went to the small ports like a Kanazawa that time. And Spirit of Oceanus, Cruise West, Oceanic Grace, Clipper Odyssey, Seaborne Spirit, Orion Expedition, Silver Shadow, Ponan. Especially Silver Shadow and Ponans are the main luxury yacht type ship which comes to Japan. But all the others are my old memories and my old story. Nowadays in Asia, big ship and mega leisure ship. Star Cruise, Genting Dream. This comes to Taiwan and coming to Ishigaki and Naha. And the Princess Cruise started the Japan source market operation, Sun Princess and Diamond Princess, starting 10 years ago. And Holland America in the springtime and autumn time, they come on repositioning. These are the big ship Royal Caribbean Cruises, Norwegian Cruises, MSC Cruises. Those are the main big ship in Asia now. After COVID is lifted, time should be perfect for wealthy, young, at heart people, like 1980s, 1990s. Luxury ship movements like 1980s, this will be the dramatic growing international market for now. Two separate ways, a big ship and the luxury small ship. Small means limited numbers. Adventure means a lot of activities, experience, especially with local people. Expeditions, new experience where you haven't been, they can brag about. For international luxury cruise market, their good choices are upper category of luxury club floor for the big ship, or small and leisure luxury ships, which I talk about. Unique itinerary and experience where a big ship cannot go. This is a cedar tree on Yaku Island, a World Heritage. On the right-hand side is a blowfish mystery circle in Amami Island, which became a World Heritage. In Japanese, we call it Nansei Archipelago, which literally means southwest. It's Nansei, World Natural Heritage Island hopping itinerary. From Keelan to Kagoshima, those Iriomote, Tokunoshima, and Amami became World Heritage this year, July, and Yakushima became World Heritage 1993. This is the map, Taiwan to Japan, Kagoshima, Archipelago, you can see on a Google map. This is Keelan, And Iriomote location is so close to Taiwan, beautiful island. And Tokunoshima, which is very small but close to the center core area of the World Heritage. Amami Oshima, which I love, and I have been there more than 30 times. Yakushima, that the cedar tree island. Then Kagoshima, that traditional Japanese houses and the beautiful Mount Sakurajima. Then later on, I expand to the another World Heritage for Nagasaki. This is Iriomote, the beautiful island close to just off Taiwan, and the mangrove park. And Iriomote wildcat is a unique species. That's why one of the reasons why they became a World Heritage, and the beautiful forest and the beautiful ocean. Tokunoshima is unique because from only 10 minutes from the port or from 10 minutes from the airport, you can go to the core area of World Heritage. They, on the left side, the Black Rabbit at the small house is Japanese government awarded this little house as a Cool Japan Award, which is, we think, cool to see the unique Black Rabbit in Tokunoshima, and the unique rocks and the beautiful ocean and the bullfight you can see in Tokunoshima. And this is my favorite, that Amami. At the south of Amami is beautiful. I just upload me and my wife enjoying the canoe riding and the mangrove park in Amami, and the dramatic land coast and the beautiful sea and mountain. And also you can go to the core area of the World Heritage, about 30 minutes from this Korea port. Yaku Island is a deep forest, more than 1,000 years old, 1,000 years cedar trees, which is famous for. A lot of Europeans, a lot of Americans who knows this specialty, they come and sometimes backpacking. But for the cruise line, the adventure cruise line visited here before. Then after COVID is lifted, hopefully this island will be the popular one, and not far from the Kagoshima city. I wanted to mention about the Kagoshima-Taiwan partnership. I was happy to be with the Sha Chote, that he is ambassador in Tokyo from Taiwan, and he visited Kagoshima and did the tour to the remote area, which shows the friendship from the Taiwan to Kagoshima. And Kagoshima people, local people, even show the Taiwan flag on the ship, which they really was a surprise. And it's a unique experience, and especially the small and luxury cruise ship. You have the real fresh fish tasting, and welcome and the farewell ceremony, which is very heartwarming. That's to Kagoshima, and this is a little extension to up north, World Cultural Heritage, Nagasaki area. Hidden Christian site in Nagasaki region became World Heritage 2018, which you can see the all the cultural site in the churches and the little cathedral and the image of Christ and Maria. Then I believe that the European people who like the history love to visit here as an extension. And on the right, left, like below is the Gunkanjima, just off the Nagasaki World Heritage Site, which is a coral mine ruins. It became World Heritage 2015, which is interesting. Is 007 Craig. Now the 007 previous one, or previous one before, it was a shooting site. That's about my presentation about the World Heritage Archipelago from Taiwan to Japan. I hope that a lot of cruise line look into this area, and more and more luxury cruise ship will come to this area from Taiwan to Japan. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Yoshi-san, for taking us to the historical journey of the cruise industry in Japan. So many interesting places that you spoke about, lots more places to add into our bucket list. So we are going to have just an extension of time a little bit since we are running a little bit late. So what we'll do now, we will reverse our what do you call it, our order. We will just do a picture now because Miss Verna Esmeralda has to leave for another. Oh, okay. She has already left, right? So, okay, never mind. So what we'll do the panel discussion now, and we have Miss Jing who will actually replace Miss Verna Esmeralda. So do we have any questions? Let's see now. Okay. So, okay. Perhaps I would like to start with a question to Mr. Michael. Michael, yeah. You have mentioned clients aboard a seaborne voyage would be able to experience what could not buy from the shelf. What would be your advice to a local destination management company in order that they can execute the branding expectations? You need to unmute, I think.
I think I've got you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm struggling. My traditional Mandarin reading is not so good. So anyway, I've figured it out. Thank you for the question. It's a very good question. So what makes Seabourn so unique really is the partnership with UNESCO. In regards to accessing those World Heritage sites, we do have a permanent contact liaison in the European office, the head office in Paris. And using that contact, we will get access to people who work directly with that site, whether that's a curator of a museum, whether that's somebody who's working on a conservation project in a remote natural site. That's the kind of insight that we'll look for, and we'll use that as a lead. Quite often we may be able to have a private lecture with that person, or we may be able to access a site that is typically not available to regular guests. So working with the ground handlers will leverage that overarching partnership or relationship with UNESCO to really get access where other I guess competitors probably couldn't. So that's really probably the most unique Seabourn difference. And I guess I'll probably expand that also to talk a bit about the Ventures by Seabourn experience, which is available on the current fleet, which is, these are really luxury yachts that can be retrofitted with an expedition type experience. And there we have that specialist expedition team. We have a very deep pool of specialists that we work with. And they'll often accompany a local operator on an excursion and offer a different particular field of interest, whether it's in botany or geology, or it might be in natural history, it could be marine mammal specialist. And they'll often work with the local guides to provide a different perspective and a different insight. So I would say that those are probably the two most unique features of a Seabourn excursion.
Okay, thank you, Michael. That was very insightful. Next, I have a question for Mr. Wenson from Marine Ministry of Taiwan Cruise Department. Are there any plans to actually have some regional cooperation to interest more expedition ships to come into the region, Taiwan, East Asia?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Let me introduce. Taiwan has some project like international fund like ACC, and we have also planned to have some incentive for a cruise line company to Taiwan have a visiting. We have some fund for help to planning their visiting their itinerary plan, so they can fly to Taiwan. Their product manager can fly Taiwan. We have some help have found to them, and we have all authority to help to organize planning any they needed, like if you want to use your Zodiac, if we have no CIQS can to the beach, then we can solve this problem. So Taiwan have not only the founder supply, but also have all kind of help. So we very welcome the cruise line to Taiwan, and we think we not let you down to Taiwan for a visit. We have confidence you come to here, have all kind of help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent. Really good to know that there are lots of incentive and other kinds of help that the cruise lines could actually obtain if they are interested to come to Taiwan. The next question I have, since we are running a little bit out of time, is for Iji-san. Yeah, Iji-san. You have been an expedition leader, and I would like to ask these questions that many ports are being built or planned to be built in Asia. What would you say is your ideal port, and what would you say is something that port developers should avoid?
That's a interesting question. I think when you consider an expedition, the ideal is that you don't have a port. So, but on the other hand, what we do see in many cases is the larger ports tend to be in the outskirts of the city, not really in the central part of the town. So when we will be using when it is an expedition and when we are going to a city with ports, we would highly prefer a port that is in the closer part of the center of the city, rather than going to the larger industrial ports. That would be one, I think, element. But on the other hand, the other part is if the ports can also work in collaboration with the neighboring areas, which also have a charm of expedition content for us to be able to do a landing operation there. In most cases, expeditions should have an activity starting from after breakfast till before lunch, and then another activity after lunch before dinner. And in most cases, we would navigate the ship in between during the lunchtime. So the landing activity can consist only about 2-3 hours, which is fine as well. It doesn't have to be a full day. So it doesn't have to be a full package, but just a good content in 2-3 hours closer to the port where we can commence Zodiac operation. That would be great before or after calling the port facilities.
Right, thank you. Yeah, since there are quite a number of DMCs and port authorities here, may I ask Michael on that part of the question as to what should ports avoid when they develop a port, so far to what you have experienced?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good question. I've done a lot of the development work in the South Pacific, particularly in this Melanesian region, so Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, New Caledonia. I would agree with what my colleague in Ponant would say. Less is more, for sure. There is definitely room for infrastructure, and when we're talking about, probably less so in the expedition category, but maybe more moving into mid-sized ships, and you know, occasionally you can have a new port development that will service all categories. I think to have, at a bare minimum, some kind of a landing facility, a jetty, some basic amenity, and really any kind of way to include that local community is really essential to the whole experience. In terms of what to avoid, I think one of the regular stuff you see in most cities is what to avoid. I think what you want to do with capturing a new destination is trying to really focus on what's beautiful, what's natural, what's authentic. And often that can be local culture, it can be whether it's indigenous or not, it can be, you know, local craft making, things that the people are going to remember. You know, I think what I would really thoroughly recommend against is this over commercialization of building ports that all look the same. That's one thing that I would say what not to do.
I just came up with one thing to avoid, so I'll share that with you. One thing to avoid as a port, I think, is the lack of visioning how your port appears from the sea. A lot of the ports have empty containers, large-scale garbage near a berth that you're trying to bring a passenger ship to. In most cases, you want to appear your city beautiful when you arrive at a station or an airport, but in many cases, some people forget that same importance is required for ports as well. So for ports to look beautiful from the sea is also important, with including hosting the industrial side of the function of the port.
Thank you, Yuji-san.
And unfortunately, that goes to many of the Japanese ports, guys.
Thank you, Yuji-san. Yeah. So I have just one last question. Unfortunately, I would love to, ask more questions, but that will be the last one. I will direct this to Yoshi-san. Yeah, Yoshi-san. So, as a cruise consultant, when do you think the cruise industry will be able to come back to the level before the pandemic, looking at the vaccination rate that's going around the region, this region?
Can you hear? Yeah. Actually, that the vaccination rate in Japan is like 60, 65, around that. And by the November, December, it would be like 80, I think, 80%. And now the Japanese government and the domestic cruise line, also with the international cruise lines, discussing resumption of the operations. And I don't know exactly because it all depends on the COVID situation. But all of us Japanese knows that the COVID situation is getting better and the number getting lower and lower. So I hope next year sometime, hopefully April, May, international cruise lines start to, operate. But not full capacity, probably 50% or less. Then by 2022 autumn to 2023, hopefully 2023 back to norm, before not 2019. That's my prediction.
Thank you, Yoshi-san. Yeah, all of us are hoping that it'll be very soon. Yeah, right. So we're going to take a photograph now with all the panelists. Yeah, so let's, I think we just got a smile and somebody needs to tell us that it's done. Okay, so let's say 1, 2, cheese.
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 Right. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So, we would like to say a big thank you to the Taiwan Maritime and Port Bureau, the Association of the Cruise Development, and also to all our distinguished speakers today for this session. It's been really great. And it's been wonderful to hear from all of you. We have learned a lot and we wish we can do this again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for still staying with us. And before we move on to the next section, the moderator and the panelists of third session, please turn on the camera. Besides, please still keep your camera off. Let's move on to our last panel discussion today, Asia Archipelago Cruise Alliance proposal, and please welcome our moderator for this panel, Connie Chan from Golden Foundation Tours.
Okay, thank you, MC. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Connie Chen, General Manager of Golden Foundation Tours, and also the co-host of this event. And we are a 50-year inbound tour operator and a DMC. I'm also the board director of ACSF. Thank you all for staying with us till our last panel. During this panel, we will be exploring the future of uniting resources from multiple Asian countries and to form up Asia Archipelago Cruise Alliance. And we are hoping by forming up the alliance, we can use the platform to share and exchange insights, ideas, and experiences to attract more expeditions, cruises, and small luxury cruises lines to Asia, and to promote the precious tourism resources for archipelago cruise travel, sharing the local niches, the local experiences of creativity, even sustainability and ecotourism to international expedition cruise ship post-pandemic to our destinations. Following, please allow me to introduce Professor Chuck Tsai from National Ocean University, and he will be on behalf of Maritime and Port Bureau Taiwan and also ACDT to propose the future structure of Asia Archipelago Cruise Alliance. Hello, Chuck. The panel is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now we move to the last session, and I think we will be the important session. We will proposal of Asia Archipelago Cruise Alliance, AACA, which we pronounce like ACA. My name is Chuck Tsai. I'm on behalf of ACDT, Association for Cruise Development of Taiwan. I'm also the professor from NTOU, National Taiwan Ocean University. And first, we'd like to mention the purpose of the AACA. ACDT, Association for Cruise Development of Taiwan, works with MOTC, Ministry of Transportation and Communication, Maritime Bureau, Taiwan, to establish the AACA, which focus on attracting international cruise lines, finding new destinations, developing Northeast Asia cruise routes, Southeast Asia cruise routes, and the Taiwan island hopping cruise routes. While we consider about the members of the AACA, which includes Port Management Department, Tourism Department, local government, and public institution. Basically, these four members are quite important for cruise lines deployment. When cruise companies, they are thinking to call at different ports, these four departments are the main in charge of the cruise issues. So we will be mentioning about more details, the structure of the AACA. And we plan to attract international cruise lines, also find a new destination and develop an Asian cruising itineraries. We would like to see the support from government, national policy, and the new cruise lines entering, and new cruise itineraries planning, and probably we can reach the sustainable tourism. As we mentioned previously, we can see a lot of reoperation cases in Asia, in the United States and in Europe. And due to the outbreak of COVID-19, mainstream cruise lines in Asia, they start focusing on promoting schedule, like domestic cruising. We can see the Dream Cruise, which operate in Taiwan, and the Cruise to Nowhere, that's Royal Caribbean, operated by Quantum of the Sea in Singapore. And our government look at the successful operation experience not only brings in large cruise lines, for example, Princess Royal Caribbean, and also appears expedition cruise lines, for example, Seabourn, Honan, and so on, to apply for reoperation in Taiwan. And now, as we can see, the expedition cruise market in Asia, and there are a great percentage of passengers, they choose the destination in mainland China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and rest of the Asia. And we can see that for the Asian passengers, they would like to choose the expedition destination, which including 10,000 passengers in 2018, according to the CLEAR report. And the Silver Sea also report that passengers dare to be expedition cruising in Australia, New Zealand, the South Pacific, and Asia. So we can see that the expedition cruise market has been noticed by a lot of cruise company, and also the government, they would like to welcome this kind of expedition cruise. And here we can see the future cruise lines itinerary plan for Honan cruise in 2022, and also in Seabourn cruise in 2023. And we can see in the left-hand paragraph, in the left-hand diagram, we can see that we're starting with departure from Keelung, and we end up with the Naha, Japan. And for these islands, they have a rich tourism resources. And in the right-hand side, we can also see the cruise itinerary starting from Southeast Asia, and also call at Taiwan, and end up in Northeast Asia in Japan. So for this island, they have a rich resources. So we would like to attract more cruise lines to call at this port to form the Asian Archipelago Cruise Alliance. So if we can work together to share, to integrate this resource, we might have a better chance to attract more cruise company to deploy their cruise lines in these countries. And the next, we would like to mention about the two objectives of the AACA. The first one will be we integrate relevant resources to attract expedition and the luxury cruise lines to call at Asian islands and ports, and then form the Asia Archipelago island chain. Also, we would like to think about attract cruise lines to deploy at Asia ports as their home ports for domestic itineraries. So basically, the first objective, we would like to see the Asia islands can be formed, that's the Asia Archipelago island chain. Since, as we can see from the previous slides, we have a very good opportunity for different countries, different islands. We have plenty of resources we can integrate together. And then the second one will be the members of the AACA. We work together to do the promotion, to do the strategies, joint marketing, and international cruise excursions participation to match different cruises itineraries, and enhance the popularity of the Asian island hopping cruise market. So basically, the second objective is we would like to promote the idea of AACA, and we work together, we do the promotion to the cruise company, we attend the International Cruise Forum, and we invite a cruise company to visit the destination. And then we will mention about the members in AACA. As we mentioned previously, the members of AACA can be consist with 4 organizations. The first will be the Port Management Department. It's like Taiwan MOTC, or Port and Harbor from Japan. And the second will be the Tourism Department. For example, from Indonesia, from Finland, from Philippines, from Singapore, and also from Malaysia and so on. And also, we consider about the public institution like Asia's Cruise Service Network, and also some travel agencies, if they are interested to serve the cruise lines, they can join the AACA. And the last will be the local government. For example, this time we invite the Taiwan offshore islands, Mazu, Honghu, Jinmen, and Taidong government to join this AACA. And the last, we will be mentioned about the Gantt chart, which means we were going to do the time frame we're going to do in the future. And the first, in 2022, we will start organizing and inviting potential members to join the AACA. We plan to have a quarterly meeting, and we are planning to establish AACA in the fourth quarter in 2022, and we will sign an MOU for the further cooperation. And then we draft the incentive programs for cruise lines, and we would like to see the different ports, different countries, they would like to promote what their incentive programs for cruise companies to attract them to call at their ports or to choose them as their home port. And also, we would like to promote marketing strategy together to the cruise companies. And also, we will hold AACA Cruise Forum in each year by different members rotatorily. And the last will be we would like to participate international cruise forum, for example, like Sea Trade Forum, to promote the AACA concept, to attract more members. And the last, thanks for your attention. And if you have any question, feel free to drop your message, and then we can have more discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Tsai. It is very true that to attract more expedition cruises and small luxury cruises ship to deploy in Asia, unique destinations are the key factor. In our previous session, we've heard valuable sharing from our neighboring countries who are also popular destinations for international tourists and even for Taiwanese. The participation from unique destinations which attracted to cruise lines are crucial members of AACA. Today, we are delighted to invite 4 magistrates from different archipelago destinations of Taiwan to share their view. Mazu, a place with spectacular dreamlike nature phenomenon called Blue Tears, and a very small island but with the highest density of military tunnels, and it is also one of 9 geoparks in Taiwan. Let's welcome Mr. Liu, the magistrate of Mazu, Lianjiang County.
先生，大家好，我是马祖连江县县长刘正义，非常欢迎国际邮轮产业的业者来到马祖。马祖位于台湾的西北方，在中国大陆福建沿海闽江口外，过去曾经是前线战地，虽然是一座很小的岛屿，总面积才29.6平方公里，但是四乡五岛，蕴藏非常丰富的自然景观、人文、生态、战力、历史，雅虎旅游精选的全球10大小岛马祖排名第1。CNN报道，马祖的 来眼泪，梦幻景观是一生必看的15大奇景之一，非常适合旅游度假。非常支持跳岛邮轮联盟的成立，借由我们台湾蓝色公路来欣赏海洋以及离岛之美。我们热烈的欢迎大家来到马祖，来品尝全世界最好的白酒——马祖高粱酒，海岛四季的海鲜、传统美食，来体验马祖的生态文化及战地风情。祝福大家身体健康，万事如意。
Isn't it beautiful? Thank you, Mr. Liu. Taitung, occupying the most beautiful Pacific coastline in Taiwan, is Orchid Island, hometown of Dawu indigenous tribe, and a mysterious tradition of Flying Fish Festival, and its Green Island, owning one of the only 3 salt seawater hot springs in the world. Let's welcome Magistrate Yao.
台东风跳岛蓝屿绿岛一次玩到底。今天我们来介绍台东，我们是2018年 Booking.com 发表是全球10大新兴旅游城市，在2020年是全球10大好客城市第7名，在今年2021年是全球最好客目的地的第1名。由此可见，台东的在国际的观光形象一直不断在提升。我们的施政愿景是擦亮台东品牌，深化台东价值，倡议有机观光，形塑台东的慢经济。 台东是真善美的地方，我们的品牌价值就是真善美。我们就地取材，使用在地的食材，放眼望去的风光景色都是真的。我们的民风淳朴，对土地友善，充满感恩。我们的族群丰富，却互相包容。透过观光发展，让世界各地看到台东的真善美。什么是有机观光呢？有机观光是一种维护环境健康、生态健康以及人类健康的旅游体系。它仰赖自然的力量、生态的多样性以及在地循环，而不是加强使用外来的元素。有机观光结合了传统、创新与科学，希望能创造更美好的环境旅游，并且提升所有生命的生活品质与创造彼此适当的关系。寻找有机元素呢，是越在地越国际。我们在看自己有什么，而不是看自己没有什么。形塑台东的慢经济，慢经济呢是包含慢生活、慢谈、慢思、慢设计、慢运动以及慢食。所以来台东不再是浅尝式的观光，而是深饮式的体验。台东是一个适合深度旅游的地方，来台东找回自己的慢生活。这几年来，东台湾一直是国内外游客向往的旅游胜地。位于东部离岛的兰屿和绿岛，有着独特的自然景观和文化背景，更是誉为太平洋的海上明珠。位于东部的离岛兰屿是一座充满神秘色彩的小岛，这里有台湾原始的海上民族达悟族。长年以来与西部都市化的隔离，让他们得以保留许多属于自己的文化产物，其中飞鱼祭更是达悟族人代表性的祭典，每年都会吸引大量的游客前来朝圣。除了文化充满了特色之外呢，这里的自然景观也十分丰富，清澈的水质和原始的样貌，让海岛风光呢得以蓬勃的发展。那在兰屿的部分，我们要继续跟各位说的就是一定要来兰屿浮潜和夜钓。清澈的海水底下有丰富的珊瑚礁生态体系，不管是白天浮潜还是夜钓小馆、夜访飞鱼，都是旅客首选的活动。东清村呢，这是一个秘境在海石洞中有一个湖泊，特殊的形状礁岩有如天然的游泳池，让许多的游客着迷于此游泳、浮潜跟跳水。那在文化体验的部分，达悟族的传统飞鱼祭可以分为招鱼祭、收藏祭、终始祭3个阶段。每年2月到3月举行的飞鱼的招鱼祭呢，一直到9月的中鱼祭，都是长达将近6个月的飞鱼捕捞季节。春夏时节都很适合出海，这时候可以看到捕鱼的情形。若要看家家户户门口晒满飞鱼干的这样的传统文化，就要来到飞鱼的收获季的时候才看得到。那关于达悟族还有个特色，就是传统的地下屋。早期族人运用智慧，将主屋的结构以下凹形态建造，避免寒冷的东北季风和夏天的台风吹袭。来到兰屿，除了产地直销的新鲜海产之外，各式各样的飞鱼料理也是许多老饕点名必尝的美食，像是飞鱼饭团啦、飞鱼挂包、炸飞鱼，还有飞鱼卵香肠等等。那接下来要跟各位介绍到绿岛。绿岛是由火山极块的岩石所形成的岛屿，常年受风化和海水侵蚀，形成特殊的地形。那以及得天独厚的地理环境，孕育出全球为3的海底温泉，围绕着周边的珊瑚礁生态系，更是造就了丰富多样的海底世界，使绿岛成为旅客深潜及浮潜的最佳选择。那接下来在绿岛呢，它是因为受到那个太平洋黑潮暖流的影响，常年水温都维持在20度左右，海水清澈时能见度可以到达50公尺，是深潜最佳的选择。这里也有全球唯3的海底温泉，朝日温泉因为面向太阳而得名，属于硫磺泉。在绿岛可以享受边泡温泉边看日出的极致体验。2008年，澳洲的潜水界呢更评选绿岛是全球100大的潜点。这时候我们以豆丁海马作为绿岛的代表物种，在2018年台东县政府和中华邮政合作，创造了这个世界最深的 海底邮筒。文化部分，绿岛也有一段不可磨灭的历史，最为人深知的就是人权纪念馆。现在呢，已经改成为绿岛人权纪念公园。这里有着昔日政治犯的名册和白色恐怖的受难名单，字字句句刻画着早期人民对于民主、自由和人权的血泪史。那为了我们推广绿岛的观光，继豆丁海马之后呢，我们又协助了绿岛乡公所向中央争取经费，在另外一个潜水区设置了尖翅燕鱼的母子邮筒，并在今年的10月3号办理记者会正式启用。海底邮筒所使用的明信片，则是由绿岛的师生共同创作，充分展现绿岛学童对海洋的喜爱。影片贩售所得25%则回馈学校作为环境教育经费，培育绿岛学童维护海洋环境的意识。这次尖翅燕鱼的邮筒呢，母邮筒其中一个邮筒是在浅水区下的6.4米，另外一个子邮筒就是在浅水步道上也就是您走路就可以到，在海水退潮的时候不用潜水也能在路上投递。不管是戏水或潜水，您都能够体验投递海底明信片的快乐。而在美食的方面，绿岛同时因为是海岛区，有各式各样的新鲜海产，其中海藻冰更是代表性的当地美食，清凉解渴，是最好的消暑圣品。那最后想要跟各位说，东海岸台东的兰屿和绿岛有着丰富的观光资源，一直都是国内外游客热爱的旅游胜地。在疫情的影响下，以观光为生的离岛居民经济亟待复苏，希望透过加强行销来重振当地的观光，期盼能达到双岛旅游的观光形象，满足游客的体验和提升当地的经济。在这里再一次的感谢您，希望大家来到台东风跳岛，谢谢。
Thank you, Mr. Yao. The long, extensive Golden Beach, world's top 100 green destination, and the only marine national park in Taiwan. This is Penghu, also one of the ports called by Seabourn's World Cruise in 2024. So let's together welcome Magistrate Lai from Penghu County.
各位嘉宾，大家好，我是澎湖县长赖峰伟。很高兴的向大家介绍澎湖。澎湖群岛呢，大概有90个岛屿那么这90个岛屿串成像项链的珍珠。那么人口呢，大概有10万人，面积约130平方公里。那么澎湖呢，最有名的是什么？就是风那么全世界3大风场在加勒比海、西班牙。另外就是在一个澎湖，所以每年呢，不管是国际性的、地区性的风浪板、风帆船、风寨，都在澎湖举办。那么另外还有一个澎湖更有名的呢，就是玄武岩。那么玄武岩呢，这个是具备有世界习产的实力。那么澎湖呢，到处都是。那么虽然90个岛屿但是呢，我们的行政区域划分为5乡1市。那么1市呢，就是马公市。那么马公呢，可以看什么呢？它的人文气质底蕴非常深厚，从明朝的沈有容，乃至于到清朝的水师、标兵，我们的城堡，那么这些呢，在都显示澎湖历经历史的4次战役那么留下的很多文化古迹。那么另外5乡最大的乡就是湖西乡。我们要去看什么呢？它沙滩都是黄金色的沙滩，那么绵延呢都是1-2千公尺。那么你如果漫步在这样子1-2千公尺的金黄色的沙滩点点足迹丝丝而已，都是祝福。那么另外呢，湖西乡还有一个南寮，像我们的摩西分海、北寮。那么南寮呢，它是在德国旅展全国100大推荐绿色旅游的圣境之一。那么另外湖西乡的龙门我们最近开发的一个闭锁阵地，那个是日本巨澎的时候为了防卫所做的一个闭锁的一个隧道。那么这是新开发的景点之一。那么另外呢，我们的白沙乡 最有名的东海地区啊，那么它是呢鸟类的保护区。那么如果到那边一游啊，都发觉到啊，真的是比欧洲啊还漂亮。那么另外呢，白沙我们最近啊也开发了一个露营区。那么海上的露营区呢，这是独一无二，因为台湾几乎啊露营呢都在路上，都在这个山间，但是呢，我们的那个露营区呢是临海，所以呢可以享受到晚上啊，可以享受到天上人间的一个非常的宁静的一个地方。那么此外呢，像吉贝啦，像这个其他的这些海岸啊，还是一样非常的迷人。那么经过跨海大桥啊，到了西屿的以后啊，那么西屿呢，最近我们也开发了一个新景点啊，就是我们的铜墙铁壁。那个是日本占据澎湖的时候呢，那么弹药库的所在地。那么另外像西台古堡、东台古堡，还有呢西屿乡啊，诉说整个移民文化的一个乡啊，那么是值得去一游的。那么另外呢，还有离岛啊，在望安，它是潜水的天堂啊。我们南方呢南方四岛国家公园呢，那么它们那边呢潜客非常的多，海底是多彩多姿。那么再远一点的七美乡啊，那双星石户营造整个爱的氛围啊，建议呢如果要度蜜月呢，也可以到那个地方去。所以整个澎湖五乡一市啊是非常迷人的诱因。那么另外澎湖啊，我们每年1年1度的花火节啊，那个也是呢，算是啊，也是国际级的。去年呢，我们跟迪士尼合作，那么跟迪士尼合作呢，在单去年啊2个月就涌进了52万人，那么几乎啊每天啊都有8、9千人进来，那么也在2个月啊，那么营造了26亿的一个成绩啊，让我们的商家呢也都啊每个都赚到钱哈。所以基本上呢，澎湖除了风景优美、海洋、沙滩，还有我们澎湖的这个人文的底蕴啊，很欢迎呢观光客来享受澎湖的美。尤其当乘风破浪的那一刹那，你会感觉到啊，这个爱的信心啊就是力量。澎湖就是充满了一个非常迷人，边呢是一个非常的理想的一个境地，所以我们欢迎了观光客，那么尽量来享受澎湖之美。
Wow, this is so beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Lai. Kingman, the last but not the least, Kingman, I only mentioned this name, I've already got a little bit tipsy because Kingman brews Taiwan's best local liquor called Gaoliang. Kingman itself is also one of Taiwan's 10 national parks. Your eyes will be blazed by the picturesque historical architecture of its traditional cluster. So let's welcome Magistrate Yang from Kingman County.
2021年亚洲跳岛邮轮联盟推动论坛，所有的与会贵宾、所有的产官学界、业界的先进们，还有媒体朋友们，大家好，我是金门县县长杨正武，非常荣幸能够在论坛的这一个典礼上面，来代表金门跟大家问好，来跟大家表示感谢之意。事实上，大家也晓得，经历了疫情，所有的业界的生态其实一直在改变。新形态的产业模式才能够带着大家走过疫情，而这里面我们看到，从2020年开始，交通部特别是航港局就一直在破坏有关跳岛邮轮。那在去年也有一些成功的案例，有邮轮到金门去，把游客带到金门去。那么今天这一个论坛呢，我们也感受到了交通部推动的决心，也感受到了航港局承办这个业务的一个用心。所以包含叶局长也多次跟我们来做联系，希望我们能够在跳岛联盟上面一起来促成。所以在这边特别来表示感谢。那同时呢，当然我们对这一个推动论坛是有期待的。诚如刚才所说，这样的一个新的形态，很可能在将来扮演一定的时间之内，扮演国内旅游的一个支撑，也可能是离岛旅游的一个主力。所以我们希望这样的一个论坛能够给金门、给旅游业界注入一剂的强心针。那在这里，除了感谢以及肯定之外，当然也要跟大家介绍一下金门。金门的观光资源非常非常的丰富，在这边没有办法一一的跟大家讲什么景点、什么美食、什么美酒啊。当然美酒是一定要讲，就是我们的金门高粱。那在这个美景的部分，只能跟大家简单的讲，金门是一个非常有特色的地方，一个这么小的岛屿，却蕴含了很深厚的文化底蕴跟不同样态的观光特质。为什么这么说呢？很多金门的观光特质，单独一项拉到台湾本岛来，它可能就是一个很夯、造成风潮的一个景点。比如说，金门有大量的战地史迹、坑道、碉堡、营区跟互动的军事体验，这些是本岛你看不到的。如果拿到本岛来，一定会造成轰动。比如说，金门有大量的古迹，有大量的洋楼，有闽南式建筑的聚落，这一些你在本岛看不到。又比如说，金门最棒的就是金门的生态跟环境，水獭只有在金门看得到。我们的赏鸟是亚洲爱好赏鸟的人士，每年冬天一定要去朝圣的一个地方。除了水獭，除了这个生态，还有后这种万年的古生物，所以金门整体的生态环境非常的迷人。这一些不管是生态、聚落乃至战地，任何一项拿到其他地方，都一定会非常的受欢迎。可是金门这么小的一个岛屿，却有办法把这么多不同样态集中到金门去，所以跟大家报告，金门是一个值得大家不只要去，而且要停留、细细品味、好好用心去了解金门、认识金门的一个地方。那么，除了跟大家报告金门的这些特色之外，还有一个重点哦，金门最大的一个特色是，金门任何时候都有它迷人的地方。一年12个月，4季，任何一天去，你都可以领略到金门不同的风情。也就是说，当疫情结束或和缓了，您想出门的时候，什么时候去金门，金门都不会让你失望。那么，讲完金门之后，最后我也要跟大家报告，我们对于这个推动论坛寄望颇深， 希望借着这个论坛的举办，很多好的意见，不管是在邮轮行业的，或者是在观光的，都能够成为我们金门观光再往前走一步的一些珍贵的指引。所以金门地方政府也会配合整个论坛的推动，以及交通部、航港局整个政策，我们一起来努力，走过疫情，让产业复苏，并为金门的旅游、台湾的旅游打造一个新的蓝海。
Thank you, Mr. Yang. Okay, so after seeing all these beautiful destinations, next we're going to begin the panel discussion of our session. And then today, we are very delighted to have Professor Chuck and also Mr. Bing Zhong Lai, the Director of Maritime and the Port Bureau of Taiwan, and also my a very good friend of mine, Mr. Freddie Xu from Seaborne, Taiwan. And also our greatest honor to have Mr. Liu, the magistrate of Mazu, Lianjiang County, to join us together in the panel discussion. So, okay, yeah, here I go. The first question will be to Mr. Lai from our Maritime and the Port Bureau in Taiwan. So, Mr. Lai, how are you this afternoon?
How are you?
Good, good. I'm doing good. So my question for you will be, what will be the role of Maritime and the Port Bureau, the Port Authority, to play in the establishment of AACA?
Okay. As we know, Asia is blessed with a variety of natural resources to develop the Asian Archipelago cruise voyages. As the organizer of this forum, it is our pleasure and honor to invite all delegates from East Asia countries to participate in this forum. We would like to establish the Asia Archipelago Cruise Alliance, AACA, through the Association for Cruise Development of Taiwan, ACDT, integrating the resource of port management, tourism authorities, associations, and local governments from various countries to attract luxury and sophisticated cruise exploring the beauty of Asia. Moreover, to promote Asian archipelago cruise voyages and industry. With the establishment of AACA, the Taiwan government and related organizations will support its operation of AACA and conduct a series of meetings and conferences via ACDT, enhancing the collaboration among members and building cooperation by signing a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. We are planning to participate in the Sea Trade Cruise Global in Miami to raise awareness of AACA and looking forward to AACA members promoting the Asian Archipelago cruise voyages together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lai. And we are really looking forward to the form up from the alliance. Okay, so my next question will be to Freddie Xu. And Freddie Xu, a truly veteran of Taiwan cruise industry, also a standing supervisor of ACDT, the host of today. And he is also the former director of Carnival Taiwan. And currently he is the chairman of Seaborne Taiwan. So how are you, Freddie? Hi, Freddie, you need to turn on your mic.
I thought I did. I'm sorry. Good afternoon, everybody. Maybe some of you, I have to say good evening for instead.
Yeah, that's right. And thank you all. Thank you also for patiently staying with us till now. So, Freddie, I will have a question for you regarding how you see the establishment of AACA from the perspective of a cruise liner. Obviously, you know them very well. So what's your opinion?
Okay, if I answer one very simple way, that is is more than happy. All those cruise liner, they will see one of the platform will be established in Asia, especially after COVID-19 epidemic being so long. So all those the cruise operation suspend for more than 18 months. So they are looking for the true information. So that is a great opportunity to have this kind of no matter alliance, association, or the union will be established in Asia.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, of course.
You want some more?
Yeah. Actually, I have a question from the audience today. And obviously, I think Professor Lai's proposal for AACA really touched their hearts. So we have a question here to ask, how about the cost to join AACA? So can I have Professor Tsai to answer this question?
Sure. Thank you, Connie. Yeah, I think I just see the message drop in the chat box regarding the cost that if you would like to join the AACA, how much that we would like to charge for that. Actually, this is a good question, and this is a tough question for us as well, because we are thinking that for the AACA member, the formulation of the AACA will be the government by country. So if possible, we are thinking that the government will co-fund for the AACA. So for each country, that will be different stakeholders that can be the AACA member. But we would like to see the government, for each government or for each country, they have the co-fund at the AACA. I think, I hope that can answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Tsai. Yeah, I have the last question of this panel, and then I'm going to direct this question to, again, Mr. Freddie Xu. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
please.
Do you think how does AACA work to bring substantiate assistances to cruise companies for their deployment in Asia?
Okay, I would like to say the main target will be, the first is a travel agency in the all Asia country, because every single voyages of all those cruise liner, they need to fill up the ships. So they need travel agency to help to sell all those products. So that means when the ship come into Taiwan, then we can help the travel agency can fill up the ships, such as happened several years ago. That is the Taiwan. We have a very good, very successful charter business happen in Taiwan. That is one of the business model. The second target, that is the government. And if you still remember, and just last panel and the last panelist, they have the three people they mentioned about all those question is regarding government, no matter policy or government related the issue. For example, the real Ijishi-san, the Poland representative, she mentioned about the lake of the port. That is the government issue. And one more thing, that is the mentioned by the Michael, so represent the seaborne. He says how to emphasize the unique city and to the port of call in the future. And one more thing, that is including the peers environment. And then the last one, the Yushi-san, he mentioned about the vaccinate. What is the policy for and after the COVID-19? What is the updates, the policy? So that is the very our alliances should be cooperated very closely with the government, and then that government can release the updates news and to all those travel agency or to all other willing to join the cruise business and in the future.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. So I'm sorry for the terrible delay of this panel. It's been almost 6 o'clock here in Taiwan. So before I wrap up this panel, can I Can I have the panelists to look at the camera, and then let's take a photo. Okay. So, Mr. Lai, would you like to take off your mask? Great. Yeah. So, count to 3 and cheese. 3, 2, 1, cheese. Okay, great. Okay, one more with thumb up. Okay, 3, 2, 1, cheese. Great. Oh, Freddie, you're being special. Okay, so thank you all. We still have almost 50 audience with us, and thank you for your patience. And then we are really looking forward to the open of the border and to the resumption of the cruise business in the next year. And we will be together with Maritime and the Port Bureau, ACSN, and ACDT. We will be starting recruiting the partners for the future AACA. And I hope that we can, in Asia, we can become a very valuable and important, or we already are, the important destinations for expedition cruise and small luxury cruises. And I'm looking forward to see you all next year. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining.
Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend.